my passion is like, what I think maybe other personal trainers can kind of take on board and follow is like, it's not just about your client losing weight. It's not just about getting them into it's showing them what they're capable of, you know. It's showing them kind of, you know, why you should exercise, not just to lose weight. You know, if you've got a good exercise routine, it's probably going to benefit you in your career. You know, it's going to benefit your patience with your kids. It's going to benefit your sleep at night. There's just so many benefits to it and why to do it. And a lot of people just think it's to get in shape for a holiday in 4 weeks' time. And I think that's what Pow8r's built upon, is like showing like people what they are capable of and the whole, you know, endless benefits.
It's a lifestyle, isn't it?
That's it. It's a lifestyle, and our whole purpose behind Pow8r is like to try and reach as many people as possible living the Pow8r lifestyle.
The Leg It podcast is sponsored by Montrex. Montrex is a cutting-edge sportswear brand empowering athletes across the world, built to enhance performance and give you confidence to go the extra mile. They've got some of the most incredible products at montrex.com. There is a link below this video. Click the link and at checkout, enter the code LEGIT for 15% off your order. That's LEGIT, all one word. Everything from jackets, cargo pants, gym tops, t-shirts, running jackets, running pants. Everything is on their website, and they sponsor some of the most incredible athletes. Everything from UFC fighter Leon Edwards and a good friend of the podcast, boxer Jazza Dickens. So click the link below, use the code LEGIT at checkout for 15% off your order.
Right, welcome to the Leg It podcast. It's me, Jordan Neal.
It's me, Andy Grant, and this week's guest are Cal and Hollie, as in what I like to think, power couple Liverpool. Pow8r.
Thought you were going to say Pow8r. The amount of people who call it Pow8r.
Is it not?
It's just power.
No, it's just
power.
Yeah, it's
but
the E, innit?
yeah, that's
there
just
you go.
like the E.
That's the second podcast on the bounce. I've started it and got the either name wrong or
Mate,
we had Timo on last week, and it's spelled Timo. We've got
Timo.
It stays there, you in though, it's Timo. So
I thought it was Timo, to be fair. I'll let you off it.
there you go. So it's Pow8r then.
Power.
Yeah, power.
We'll probably come to that at the end, but that's what I just think. He's just smashing it. He's getting people healthy, fitter, better people, which I'm all for. So well done on that.
Thanks very much.
Probably best to talk about your individual journeys, getting into PT and stuff like that. How did that come about? Start with you, Cal.
Yeah,
Canny farm then.
Yeah, straight from the farm. But I got into it quite late, to be honest, when I was 26. So I left school when I was 16, obviously, and literally went straight onto the building site. My dad's a bricklayer, and it's a weird one, to be honest. I didn't really enjoy school. I was massively into my sport and my footy. We went to Cardinal in school, and I loved that side of it. But in terms of like classwork and stuff, I absolutely despised it. So I couldn't wait to leave school, to be honest. And you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'd love to be back in school now and take me back," and it's just something I didn't really enjoy. I was one of the lads, played for the footy team, but yeah, just didn't really enjoy it. So
that not make you want to love school though. I loved being one of the lads.
I know, but you think about it, it's like that was probably 2 hours a week going to play for the school footy team type thing, and it was like all the others. The yard was brilliant. We had a big group of 20-30 of us, all mates, and it was like, but out of it, like a 6-hour, 7-hour day in school, you're only doing that for like an hour of it, and the other 6 just didn't really enjoy, didn't like being in class and stuff. So I couldn't really wait to leave school. And my dad, obviously
6 months onto the building site, you were like, get me back in school.
6 months,
Wish I was in
6
English.
hours, 6 hours. So like I couldn't wait to leave, and obviously my dad was like, look, there's a job for you there. It was only a small little, it was just like a bit of a family business. My dad, my granddad, my uncle, a few others. So I was like, yeah, sound, I'll give it a go, I'll get stuck in. And I thought, being with my family, it'll be sound. And just a massive reality check, mate. It was like literally gone from being on the yard with all my mates, you know, going out to play footy, meet up straight after school, and it was like, that was reality there. Just getting up at 6 a.m, driving to Manchester, freezing cold, middle of winter, loading bricks and throwing mixers in and stuff. And it was, mate, I must have done that from 16 to 25. Yeah, I think I just it just become part of my life, really. Yeah, it was kind of probably just like a bit of my comfort zone, because I was with my dad, with my cousins, with my uncles and stuff, and it was, yeah. So that was me till, pardon? And a guaranteed wage, yeah. You go from school getting, we used to get like £2, me and my 2 brothers would get like £2 each for school dinners, going to earn like 250 quid. It was like it was good at the time for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then yeah, I kind of, when you're speaking to your mates and they're like, oh yeah, college is sound, we're doing this, there's a few of them, and I'm like, mate, I think I was the only one who actually went straight into a job, and kind of, yeah, it wasn't enjoyable.
It's mad that, isn't it? We talk about it all the time in school. You kind of, it's like you don't know what you don't know, do you? You don't know the different careers out there. You don't know what it's like to do a full day's work, especially on a building site or something like that as well.
That's it. It was like, I've got so much respect for anyone who works on site. As I say, I felt like the older I was getting, the more I was realising this isn't for me. Like, I've got so much more to offer, and it wasn't down to, I thought I was better than anyone on the building site. It was like, everyone, fellas are turning around to me saying like, oh, you want to get off site, kid, it's not where you want to be. And I'd sit in the canteen and I'd be looking around and I'm like, he's miserable, they're all miserable. Some of them were on really good wages and still miserable, and I was just like, this is not for me. But obviously it took that long because it was so comfortable, because it was good money and stuff. It took that long to kind of realise it. But I started asking myself questions, and I was like, if I was on, I'd lie in bed at night and I'd think, if I was on $3,000 a week, would I jump out of bed and look forward to it? And I was like, no. Like, I think I'd rather do something I'd enjoy for 500 quid, 300 quid, rather than get enough for the rest of my life, you know, because it just, I didn't want to live my life any longer doing something I didn't enjoy.
It's hard, that conversation though, innit, to walk away from, like, you know, someone giving you money at the end of the month to say, yeah, there's your bills paid, you know, you can still go out, you can buy whatever you want to buy. It's hard to have that conversation with yourself and be like, I'm going to cut that off, but I'm going to, you know in your heart of hearts you'll make it back, but it is an hard conversation, that, isn't it?
And that's the first thing you said to me. When I was speaking to him, he did say something like, my dad said to me, what was it? Your dad said, you really want to go and leave? Like, you're getting a guaranteed wage. What are you doing? Like, you're just going to go and be a PT? Like, and I remember him saying that to me, and he went, now I just want to prove everyone wrong, like, I can do it. I remember that was like one of the first things.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like a bit of an old school mindset as well. My daddy weren't saying it to kind of put me off. It was a bit like, he just couldn't see the vision that I had, basically.
It's
that
what people have always known though, isn't it? Like, back in that generation, it's, you know, go and secure yourself a wage, take it home to your family, look after your kids, look after your house, stuff like that. It's PTing essentially is a pretty new, it's a new industry, isn't
Absolutely.
it? You know, people are always knowledgeable about the gym, or they know about like lifting weights or whatever, but actually being a personal trainer is not something that's been around for
well, that's it, to be honest. It was like, looking back now, I think I'd done my course about 5 years ago, and I could probably name 4 or 5 PTs, whereas now I think the amount of PTs out there now, it's like, I think it's gone from when I first started, I think it's really, it grew a lot. People have seen people doing well and thinking, I can go down that route, I can give it a go, and I think more courses become available and stuff, because at the time, I'd literally paid for my course. I must have had £3,000 saved. I had up for 10 years worth of work. That's all I had to show for it. It was $3,000. It was in cash sitting in my top drawer. And the day I decided to go for it, I went online and checked how much the course was, and it was £2,999. And I was like, if that's not meant to be, like, you know, so, yeah.
I think going back to what you said about your dad as well, we spoke about it with Paul Cheatham, and I've mentioned my dad, haven't we, where, like what you said, that old school generation where it's not as if they're not being supportive, but it's just a bit like, my dad would say to me, like, just be happy, just get a normal job, and I was like, I know, but I can feel something a bit more. And I remember Paul Cheatham said he was going to invest into a property in Spain, and his mum was like, oh no, just leave it, you know, just go about. And I guess you need to have that confidence in yourself to think, no, I want to give this a go.
Definitely. And you know what, I take it all back to one of my younger brothers. He'd moved to Australia for about 12 months. He come home and he turned around to me and he said, I've been reading the book while I've been away there. Give it a go, it's a bit of you. I was like, what is it? And he said, The Secret. And I was like, okay. I had a little look at it, scrolled through a couple of pages. The first night he gave me it, got my head down, whatever, went to work, got home, started reading a couple of pages then each night, and I was like, wow, mate, my mind was blown. I was like, I just realised what I was attracting. I was exactly where I was because of the actions, my thoughts, you know, my feelings. It all got me exactly to where I was then. And when I realised it, it was literally just one night I realised it, and I thought, you know, I've got to take responsibility. I think it was probably in the back of my mind, I was thinking, like, I was expecting something to change, but I wasn't changing. And it was like, I need to take responsibility now. If I'm going to change my life, I need to change. You know, my habits need to change. I'd come home from work and have my mum run me a bath and run upstairs, jump in the bath, have me tea and get on the couch. And I was like, even that's got to change. Like, I'd start leaving a gym bag right next to the door, I'd get it ready the night before, and it was like, my mum would say, the bath's run there, and I'd be like, no, I'm going to go to the gym, literally dripping head to toe, soaked, covered in mud. I'd grab my bag and just shoot out because I thought, like, things have got to change. And yeah, I just started taking action and just went for it.
It's that thing, isn't it? Like, don't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so true, but I've said this to loads of people, I think you can only get that with age. You know, if someone says to you, like, if someone puts you a few years ahead, you don't have the presence of mind, do you, to think like that. So probably it was a blessing for you to be, you know, a bit later in your life when you
to go through that graph.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I get up every single day. Not my mate turned around to me today and said, lad, you are actually the happiest person I've ever met. And people always say to me, you know, don't you wish you started your PT career younger? And I'm like, mate, that's the best thing that ever happened to me was working 9 years on site, because I get up every single day now. My job is to show people what they're capable of, help people change their life, and it's like,
you're so grateful for it as well.
Literally, and that's where my happiness comes. I literally get a cold shower in the morning, and where I actually do it because I think it makes me appreciate how warm my house is. It makes me appreciate my coffee when I go back into the kitchen. I'm standing in the garden thinking, I'm from Canny Farm and I've got a house in the middle of Walton here, and it's amazing. And like, the amount of gratitude I've got for. And I think it all just boils down to working on site, doing a job I absolutely despised.
I think back to when I was in the Marines and we spoke, and I used to work like literally 16 hours a day every day and get paid like 600 quid at the end of the month. Wow. And I was like made up thinking it was great and that. And then as you get older, and I do the motivational speaking, and then I think, bloody hell, God, I used to like 16 hours a day I was working, and then sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't. But now, a bit like you kind of do these talks and you're making people feel better. But I don't think I'd feel as good as I do if it wasn't for that struggle that you'd went through. Do you know what I mean?
You'd probably be getting up and going, you know, because I know I'd do it. If I'd done PT from a young age, I'd be like, can't be arsed today. Can't be arsed. Like, you'd take it for granted, wouldn't you? Definitely, you'd take it for granted.
What about you, Holly? What was your sort of...
I was huge into, like, I love school, completely different to him. Absolutely loved it. Couldn't wait to go to school. Was always really into sport. There was like 9 sports teams in our school. I had to be captain at all of them. I absolutely loved it.
You're one of those annoying people who just boss everything.
They're good.
No, I wasn't like the academic type, but I did love sport. If I wasn't the best, I would walk away. Probably the same now, really, to be honest. And it was either going to fitness, or I did fashion in uni, so I did fashion with business. So it was going to fitness or going to fashion. And my sister at the time was a personal trainer, she still is now. And it was, to me, I didn't want to follow, I was still young and I didn't really want to follow in her footsteps. So I went into fashion. I got offered a job at Very, which was Littlewoods back then. And it was an amazing job. Like, you know, all young girls would have been like, wow, that's incredible. You were doing like fashion buying. You get to go to London and just go into like a room like this and just pick what you wanted off the shelf, buy it. It sounds a lot better than it was. Anyone who does it will completely disagree with that. It's hard work and you've got a lot of responsibility on you. And I remember being sat there, and I remember within 3 months, and my head of buying said, I've never met anyone like you. You're so honest. And I used to get in trouble for it in school as well, because everything I think comes out my mouth, it doesn't really sometimes register. And I went up to her. Yeah. And I went up to her and I said to her, she went, where do you see yourself in like a few years? And I was going, I won't be in here. And I was like, oh no, I can't sit in office all day. And she looked at me like, what the hell are you doing in here then? Like, why are we employing you? But I worked like so hard. I still loved the job and I still wanted to work, and everything I did, I wanted to do to the best of my ability, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't want to sit there all day. I didn't want to be in an office job. And then I moved to another team and the whole place changed. I stayed there because I loved the people and I did love who I worked with. And then it changed, and then I looked online, and my course I didn't have to pay for, because at the time I was over 25, and if you're from the UK you didn't have to pay for it until you started earning a certain amount in personal training. So
because about that $3,000 still sitting there, Cal.
When she told me that, but you'd done like the same.
I was a year older though.
Yeah. It was the same company though, wasn't it? And they were doing that course, and I must have just missed it. But
I would have been on the phone.
And so I thought, do you know what? But the way they were doing the course, you only have to do weekends, and it wasn't like an overly long. I think it was about 6 to 8 months.
Weeks, wasn't it?
No, mine was 6 months. Oh no, was it? Was it 6 weeks? Oh God, I don't know.
Mine was
Wasn't
6
that
weeks
long ago.
every day.
No, no, mine definitely wasn't that. But mine was over weekends, and then you have to do like all the work through the week. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? Just get it and see where you go. But the more I was doing it, I was like, I know I should be in this. Like I should be doing this career. The feeling I got from it, even going in every weekend, like I couldn't wait to give up my weekends and be there all day. And it was in Manchester where my course was. And then...
So what, you're driving from Liverpool to Manchester?
Yeah, every weekend. So I gave up, like I'd work, and in Bury you didn't get to go home. You finished at 5:15, you didn't go home at 5:15. Sometimes you'd be staying there all night. And I'd get up in the morning, I'd go to the gym first thing at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I'd go back, I'd do all the work that I needed to do for the weekends, and then just go and do my course. And I loved it. And then when I remember I qualified in it was the April, and I was waiting in Bury. You got a bonus in October, and I mean now if I think about the bonus, I think what the hell was I waiting for? But I was like, I just get that bonus because, it'll be like an extra few £100 for Christmas, and if I get that in October, then I'll leave in December. And I remember now, and I think about it now, and I go, what the hell was I doing? Like that was an extra 6 months of my life wasted. But it wasn't, because it wasn't the right time. I think everything happens at the right time. It wasn't the right time to leave, and then it came to Christmas and I left. And I remember at the time I was with my ex-partner in the January, and he said to me, are you actually going to do anything with this? Like, you've left now, you will have to start working. I was going, when I'm ready, I will. Just give me, I just need a few weeks to just... When I'm ready, though, I'll do every single thing I can do in it. And then I remember, I put it on, just started an Instagram page, put it on that and said, I'm just looking for 5 people to come and train. I must have charged, next to nothing. My mum and dad, I've got a gym in their house, so I was bringing people who I knew to the house. After this, I was actually doing this in Bury. So as soon as I finished work, I'd come home, do a few PTs, and then I'd do them of weekends. And then when I left, I started doing it a bit more. And then by February, when I fully went into it, I had a wait list within 2 weeks, and I was just like, it was never about, and it still never is about money to me. It was never ever about that. It was always about how you can make people feel, and that feeling when they'd leave you or they'd message you afterwards. And I am one of these people, I'm a bit too giving, I don't leave.
Yeah.
He always shouts all the time, he's like, you can only give so much of yourself to someone, but it's I try and do it for everyone. And I'd love that. And then it went into bigger groups, and I'd get because I was doing it in a hot room, I would at first go, oh no, I can only put 4 of you in here. Then the week later I was like, maybe I could fit 6. Then I was like, we'll fit 10. And then in the end, it ended up with 40 people, and I was doing these classes 8 times a week with 40 different girls who all just came in, loved it first thing in the morning, and they all just, it was oh, that's the best thing. I just absolutely loved it. And I'd have to be in there at 5, half 5 in the morning, set the room up, get it all unset, mop all the floor, because then yoga would come in afterwards. I'd then have to run upstairs. I'd have 15 minutes to get the room ready, to get everything back up the stairs, to get onto another client, and then work all the way through. And I must, when I met you, you were like, what are you doing hours like that for? I'd start at 5 and finish at 10 most nights. But I never ever, I just loved it.
It's that thing though, isn't it? Turn your passion into a job, and you'll never work a day in your life. If you were, if you were to go mop the floor, you'd be like, I don't want to mop floors, but because it's your passion, you're like, right, mopping the floor leads me to be able to do another class or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
it doesn't really feel, when you're doing something you do love, it doesn't even feel like hard work. People are turning around to myself in the gym and go, oh, no, lad, you don't have work hard, you're non-stop, and I'm like, mate, this is not hard work. Do you know what I mean? You don't know hard work, because obviously I'd been on site and I'd worked in the middle of winter covered in shit. It was I'm standing in a warm gym helping people. I'll do this all day and night, every day.
I'm loving as well, even though they're completely different, or you're working for Very and you want a building site, but when people see you on Instagram now, like you say, it looks like, oh wow, God, they just, it's dead easy and stuff, whereas seeing the kind of graft you had to put in at the start.
That's it, mate. People see the top of the mountain, don't they? But they don't see how you got there, so it's like...
And my mum and dad were the same as him. And I was very lucky growing up, but my dad always had drilled into us, you go out, you work, you have to go and make your own way. And it was very much like that. And then when I said to them, oh, by the way, I'm leaving, I'm quitting tomorrow, and I knew I couldn't tell them because I thought they're gonna kill me. And I thought, I'm just gonna go. And at this point I was 28, and I'm still terrified now probably to tell them something like that, but I had so much respect for my mum, and I still do, I have so much respect for them, that I thought, oh, they'll feel like I failed if because I thought in their head they'll feel like, oh, she's just given up, she's got a good job there, she can progress in it, and I said, I'm walking away, I'm not doing it. I'm so unhappy, because I'd come home every day and I'd be I'd cry and I'd hated what I did, and I was like, it's just not me. Like, I love life, I love getting up, and I was going, the only thing I really love doing is going to the gym in the morning. And then it was my mum and dad saying to me, but you love training, do you want to help people? And I was like, yeah. Because I'd go with like my friends, or I'd meet other people in the gym. The amount of girls who I met in the gym, and within like about a couple of days they were training with me, because I was like, oh, just come on, you can come and like I'll help you if I can.
Just natural.
Didn't have a clue what I was doing probably at the time, because I wasn't even qualified, but I was like, oh, come on.
I think as well, it's massive lessons already just about getting out of your comfort zone, like you say, whether on the building site regular wage or going to a nice, you know, cool office, to then whether it's driving to Manchester or whether it's, you know, in the cold, to kind of go, you know, like, you know what, I'm going to do something else as well. I'm going to save money and give this money away to a course, or I'm going to give up my weekends to drive there. Whether it's a financial or a time thing, I think that in itself, to make that sacrifice, it's big, isn't it?
Definitely. The comfort zone's a dangerous place, very dangerous place. I seen something yesterday, I was listening to something and it said people die at 30 and get buried at 70, and it was like, because they give up on the goals, they have no purpose, no drive, and it's like, how many times you heard someone go like, the amount of people who go to me like, oh lad, finished aren't we? Proper finished us. And I'm like, we're 30 years of age, mate, like, we're not finished, do you know what I mean? It's like, just that autopilot mentality, which I was there, do you know what I mean?
It's bad the other day sometimes when you speak to someone or you get in a taxi and you go,
shit in it.
Shit in it.
That's it. What are you up to, lad? Look, what are you up to, lad? Fuck all, lad, shit in it. Yeah, man, shit in it.
That's like, exactly the conversation.
Look, that's the conversation, and I said to me little brother, it must have been about a year ago, and we were in the car and we were about to go into the pub where all the footy lads are, and I said, just for a laugh, I said, I'm going to tell you this now and let's see if it happens. And like, he sat down, what are you up to, lads? And he was like, fuck all, lad, shit in it. Yeah, man, shit in it. But it's like, someone would turn around on Christmas Day and go, what are you up to, lad? Nothing, fuck all, lad, shit in it. It's like, mate, you just watch your two kids open the presents, it's Christmas Day. So you are up to something, and it's not shit, it's boss.
I think I don't know, mindset, I have like a fear of like, getting to a point where like, life actually is shit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't fill yourself up anymore, and like, I do fear that day comes where you're like, you know, you're done basically, but it should never be at 20, 30, 40, 50, do you know what I mean? So the thing that keeps me going, I don't know if you're the same, but it's like, one day I'm going to get to a point where I can't do things. I can't like, you know, I can't juggle a lot of the projects that I've got on at the minute, you know, my mind isn't quite as sharp as it was. And if you sit on that day and you go, oh, I've wasted them years.
I do think you realise those days, like, I still in my head think I am 18, like I do. Not as in the way like I behave, but I mean, I will train like my body should be training to an 18-year-old, and I pick up, how many injuries do I pick up, and I still will train through them. The physio comes down and goes, don't know what you do, like what do you do to yourself? I'm like, well, you're here to fix it, like, and then just let me get back to it. And I am like, and then he'll go to me, you need to realise your body can't do what you're telling it to do at times, but it can, because it does, so it can. And in my head, I just know in even like 10 years time, if I can't even do what I'm doing now. God,
I think with age as well, though, you do like where my mentality was at 18 is completely different. It changes as you get older. You start to, you know, like with nights out, for example, like we all probably been there where we love a good night out, and I think you mature, don't you, and you start kind of, your personality changes a little bit in terms, and the older you get, I think you'll learn to start accepting these things and going like, okay, maybe I can't run 5k, but you know, I'll go on a nice big walk, and just having that kind of mentality and attitude towards it. It's the social thing as well, isn't it? Like, I know lockdown was big for this, but everyone thought they should be able to run 5k. I think people managing their own sort of expectations, because like, for example, a 10k walk for me could be a proper achievement, whereas a 10k run for someone else is like, oh, that's me like Sunday, that, do you know what I mean? It's especially in the world we live in now, in social media, it's hard to like keep your own expectations. It doesn't
count unless it's on the gram. Does it as well, so
it's hard to keep your expectations and not look at everyone else's and think, you know,
absolutely.
This is why though, like we say it, like we've got people on Pow8r, and then there'll be girls who are really like between 18 and 20, and they'll make every excuse why, you know, they're actually quite fit girls, but they just make every excuse why they can't do it. And then you've got older women who are like 40s, 50s, couldn't even squat when they came on, couldn't even do a lunge. And they're still there getting up every day at 6 in the morning. They've got like 3 kids running around, and they've got to go and work long hours, and they still give it everything. They haven't got an excuse, they're just there. And it's like, they could bring every excuse to the table really if they wanted to, but they're doing it for them and they're trying to push just to get a little bit better every day, make themselves feel a little bit better, do something for them every day just to get
I think it's what you go back to though, you know, it's like, I love to say an age is wasted on the young, and it really is, because once you get to a point in your life, like I've got kids myself, where you do have genuine excuses, you're also at a point of maturity where you think, right, I'm not going to make them because there's consequences to me making that excuse, do you know what I mean? But whereas you're young, you're like, oh, if I fuck that off, I'll be alright, I'll just go again tomorrow, do you know what I mean?
Definitely, mate. Excuses are, we both, that's one thing that we both said. I said to, like, what's your biggest pet hate? We were speaking about it last night, when we both just said excuses. It's like, mate, I was saying to a girl online a while back, and like, I actually got emotional when this happened. So I was saying to a girl online a while back, young Irish girl called Grace, and I'd planned one of her workouts and I must have put burpees in by accident. And bear in mind, this girl had one arm. She signed up with me online. She said, Callum, there's might be a bit of a hiccup. I've only got one. I lost my arm. And I was, yeah, no worry, of course. Obviously, I'll adapt everything around you. Made up just to see, like, you know what, like, fair play to you there, having a right go. You've got every excuse in the book probably there. And she messaged me one night and said, Callum, there's burpees in my workout. I'm not sure if they were meant to be there. And I was like, oh no, Grace, I've obviously mistakenly put them there by accident. I must have obviously clicked them wrong when I designed your workout or whatever. And she sent me a message back and she was like, no, I'll give them a go. It might be a bit difficult, but you know, I'll try anything. I'm up for giving it a go. And I remember I was living with my mum and dad at the time, and it was like a 2-minute voice note, and like I was like welling up in my room. I sent it to you, didn't I? And I went up to my mum and dad and I just said, like, just listen to that 2 minutes and listen to how amazing that is. And I was like, this is what I live for. This is why I do what I do. And I sent it to every client. I put it, forwarded it to all the girls in the group, all my online clients, and I just said, please, whatever you do, don't come to me with any excuses why you can't train or like why you can't do burpees.
I think that's like, the best thing about that is just a learned behaviour, isn't it? You can learn to be like, I think mentally tough's probably the wrong phrase, but to like hold yourself accountable, basically. That's not just been getting fit. I think it's in life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, if you're going to go through with a job, then go through and do it. And I think the best thing about it is you can learn to do that whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, do you know what I mean? You can still learn to
I met a guy once, right, and the first time I'd met him, and he worked a lot with military veterans, and he's banging into golf. And anyway, he seen I'd lost my leg, and he started talking and stuff, and he said, I've got a funny story about this. And he's got a limp himself. He's still got his leg, but he's got some sort of impairment. And he said when he was younger, he got asked to caddy on a golf course and was done 18 holes, and he was a bit shocked that he got asked to caddy. He's like, I've got a sore leg. And this guy went, I don't care, you're carrying the bags, you know, you're the youngest one, you're carrying it. And he was moaning all the way around 18 holes, like moaning. And in the end, this guy started to get pissed off with him and said, you know, so he said like the last 9 holes, there was just no one was speaking and he was just moaning. And he got to the clubhouse, and the golfer had one leg. And he said, you know, don't ever fucking moan again, type thing. And he said from that moment on, even though he's got a bit of a limp himself, he just, you know, saw life in a different way. He just had a different mindset to everything. And I guess that's probably down to you too, though, the attitude and mindset you're trying to instill. You know, you're not just teaching a movement, it's a mindset as well, isn't it? Like with that girl,
that's what it is.
I think it's my passion is like what I think maybe other personal trainers can kind of take on board and follow is like, it's not just about your client losing weight. It's not just about getting them into it's showing them what they're capable of, you know. It's showing them kind of, you know, why you should exercise, not just to lose weight. You know, if you've got a good exercise routine, it's probably going to benefit you in your career. You know, it's going to benefit your patience with your kids. It's going to benefit your sleep at night. There's just so many benefits to it and why to do it. And a lot of people just think it's to get in shape for a holiday in 4 weeks' time. And I think that's what Pow8r's built upon, is like showing like people what they are capable of, and the whole, you know, endless benefits.
It's a lifestyle, isn't it?
That's it. It's a lifestyle, and our whole purpose behind Pow8r is like to try and reach as many people as possible living the power lifestyle.
I think that is where a lot of people get it wrong, because a lot of people join, or they'll just message and go, okay, so can I get those results? Like a girl who's done it and she doesn't know anything about fitness, and she's like lovely, she's still smashing every workout, she's getting up, and she sent me a picture of this model the other day, and oh my god, the woman looked unreal. And she went, this is my goal, so how long until I get to this? Bear in mind, she's only been on for about 4 or 5 weeks, and I was like, I'll probably give it another like 3 years, to be honest. I'm not like lying, but that is hard. That's result that does not come overnight. That is like falling off the wagon, like 3 weeks going on holiday, having weeks off, like getting back on it. That's just hard work. It doesn't come. And I think a lot of people see these 6 week transformations, and a lot of them, to be honest, are really young girls, and they can get themselves in shape a lot quicker than when you are older. And they see that, and then like when people say that to me, I do think straight away, like I've done it from day one when I did PT. I didn't really want transformation pictures. It wasn't why I went into the job. It was to make people just better their life, really. Like I didn't really know why I was going, like what I wanted from them, but it wasn't the picture. It wasn't them to lose. I wanted them to lose weight for them to feel better, but it was more for them to feel better about themselves, have a better way of life, like, you know, be happier in their own life and just enjoy working out, enjoy that their body can do those things, and they are so lucky. But I think we've heard that a lot, haven't we? Like one of the other, I was going to say a name, but I won't, just in case. She did message us the other day, and she said, she messaged and said, you know, there was, before I joined Pow8r, I was on a night out, she was a young girl, and she went, and I just wanted to come home and end everything. She went, I just wanted to end my life. She said, I just couldn't go on anymore, and it was so sad, wasn't it? And then, like, her pictures are incredible. She's done amazing, and she is only a young girl. But just to see that she's been on it now, she's been on it with day one with us, but just to hear stories like that, there's been quite a few of them that have messaged us lately, and I think that
just shows the benefits of exercise, though, really, doesn't it? You know, she was actually in a toilet on a night out in town taking a selfie, and she said, I was looking, thinking, I can't wait to get home, I want to end everything, you know, ready to commit suicide. It's like, it's scary, and I think a lot of that can be down to like probably comparison as well.
Yeah,
like, comparison's one of the biggest causes of unhappiness, you know. Someone's always going to have you know, more money than you, someone's always going to have a bigger boat than you, a better car. It's like, you know, just focus on you.
I say this to you all, well, we have these little painting things, but I think the biggest thing people can learn is you versus you, isn't it? 100%, because like obviously you can only better yourself. Like I'm on Instagram because, you know, work and whatnot, but it's a bad place at times. It can be a great place, and you know, people can really connect and stuff, but even if you are conscious about it and you're like, right, I'm not going to compare myself, you do anyway. Subconsciously you'll always look and you'll be like, oh, they're a nice.
But it's being aware of it, it's being aware and going and clicking and hitting that switch and going, stop it. Like, you know, how many times you probably clicked on someone's profile, before you know it, you're like 62 weeks down into their profile, like looking, and you're just like,
brothers, cousins,
what am I doing here? Like, I've just wasted. Anyone can relate to that. We've all just done it, where you just get misled, and you know, it's.
We live in a time though, we're the only generation that's ever been exposed to this, like this comparison, because, you know, back in the day it was like, you know, our mums, dads, nans or whatever, they come around, they go, oh, he's got a nice car round the corner, but you might not never get round to see it. Do you know what I mean? Now it's in front of your face, you know, it's before you go to bed. I
always remember being at, I think it was at like V Festival or Tea in the Park or something, and one of the lads, Nico, he had the same birthday as Conor McGregor, and he was on, it was like 1 a.m, just turned his birthday, and he had his face painted like a tiger, and he went, me and Conor McGregor are both turning 31 today. I'm sitting in a tent in Leeds and with my face painted like a tiger, and Conor McGregor's out there, and is, you know, and it just shows you, don't it? Like, you would never compare yourself like that.
You can use it to a positive. You can use it for a positive and a negative. You know, you could compare someone at the top of the fitness game. You know, we could go like look at someone like Courtney Black and be really envious of it, or go, wow, she's got there. Like, you could use it as a positive to go, she's there, why can't we? You know,
that's what you're saying. It's how you interpret it, isn't it? Like, it's how you decide to look at it.
How have you, before we get into kind of how Pow8r come about, how do you then kind of, you know, tackle that kind of social media thing, you know, with things like, because I just think I think it's similar with my job in the sense, as a speaker, you kind of want to put yourself out there, and you've almost got to put your talents out there in your best bits, but at the same time, the way we've all four of us have got a similar mindset, you know, it's not about the fakeness and comparing yourself, so you've got this weird battle where you want to put the best bits of you out, and for example, if you've got a client who's done really well, but then at the same time, you don't want it to be a bit like, oh look, compare yourself to this. I mean, how have you managed to, as PTs, managed to tackle that?
I'll probably say, like, everyone just relates to us, don't they? Where, like, a lot of people will say, like, you are the realest PTs we've kind of come across and stuff, and we don't kind of try and portray or be something that we're not. So I think that helps, and I think we were speaking about as well, I said I want to kind of come away from just putting body images up. Put a picture of a girl or a fella 2 years ago put it up, might have the same clothes on, and it's like, tell people about their actual journey, what they've been through. It's not just about a body transformation. I think it's, if you dig a little bit deeper and show people what they've actually been through, a lot of people will relate to that rather than compare to them two body images.
What's so difficult on that though is because it's so instant. Instagram, if you see someone in, I don't know, like living, might be drinking a glass of wine or something, but there's a story there, are you gonna look at that as much if it's someone in a bikini and it's like before and after? And that's the sad thing.
It's sad. It's sad. It's probably, we probably get more sign-ups and people join on Pow8r through the results that we get, and it's like, it's a catch-22. It's like, you've got to promote it, because that's our business. That's what people can achieve and what they are achieving. But then,
it's so much more than that.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you get many people who come to you and be like, come to you and say, look, I want to lose 3 stone, but then they lose the 3 stone and they're conscious of like how much more they've achieved, do you know what I mean? They'll be like, yeah, I did get down, but like my mind stays better, and like...
That's before they've even lost the 3 stone. I think when people get to like a little bit into it, and then they start like, because 3 stone's a lot of weight. So if you got like 6 months in, you're on it then. You are on it. You've fallen off a little bit, you've had holidays, you could have picked up a little injury, you've had rest, you've done whatever in that time. But then you look back and you think, oh, do you know what? Like, some girls come to me, I don't even care what the scales say now. Yeah. Like, I know I look so much different. I'm really bad at the scales. I hate them. I think everyone should just burn them. Because girls get too caught up, and a girl's body, they're only that weight for 2 days of the whole month anyway. So if you go on and then go, oh my God, I've gained 3 pounds at a half since yesterday. It's not real weight, it's water weight, but girls won't get their heads around that. And I think for young girls especially, I think they're too scary. So I say to everyone, go by a picture, look at a picture. That's the real telltale sign. If you take a picture 6 months before, take one 6 months later, you can really see the change in your body instead of scales, which, I mean, my body over the years has changed, but I've probably gained a stone, but look like a completely different person.
It's an old school mentality, the scales. It's like, that's like my mum, and she's 50 odd now, she's like fixed it. Oh, I've lost 2 pounds, I've done this, and it's like, but look what else you've achieved though. You've been to 5 classes this week, so your consistency and your discipline's improving. You're making better choices with your food, and I think people just put everything down to kind of, just not everyone, but a lot of people do.
I think that's a great point you make, because obviously with a woman's body and like menstrual cycles and all that stuff, it's actually not reflective, is it? It's like, you could be completely off, and
it can put you off. Like, I know girls who like you've just said then, go to like 5 classes, absolutely smashing it, then get on the scales next week. Well, they lost the pound.
It doesn't work.
For one, you've still lost the pound. Whether you gained a pound, it doesn't matter, because you're probably gaining it anyway because your muscles. You're probably gaining it because you've got more water on you. There's all different reasons you can be gaining it. Until you're unless you really want to dive right into your whole body, you're not going to know those things. So that's why I used to, when I first started, actually, well before I first started PT, when I probably was only in my early 20s. I took a picture every week on like a Friday, same outfit, just before I was going to the gym, took a picture just to have them on my phone, and then I compared that to 4 weeks, and I was like, oh dear, like what you can do. And I'm also one of these people, can't bear a PT. I'm sorry if anyone listens to this and says, you've got to have this, this and this to eat in your day. That is not a lifestyle. Which, if someone told you to go and eat fruit and yogurt for breakfast, then some chicken and rice and veg for lunch, the same for dinner, maybe one snack in between, you're gonna, how long are you staying on that?
It's not sustainable. You're setting yourself up for failure.
And no one does it, so you can't expect. I wouldn't do it. Like, I couldn't expect anyone to do it. Like, I have got a huge sugar addiction. It is probably a problem really, but I love sugar. Like, I absolutely love it, and I would never say to someone, you can't go and have that chocolate bar, or you can't go and do that, because like, I know how much like enjoyment it gives me. I sit there like made up.
Chocolate brownie there.
Don't. She'd be like that. When's the break?
What I love about this though is I've been fortunate. I mean, I've been into sport all my life, and in the Marines I've always kept fit, and I've always had the very similar mindsets to you guys, and I've always, within reason, ate what I wanted, drank what I wanted, and I've never stood on a scale in my life. I've never cared about what I weigh, because I know it's about, if I'm in the gym 4 times this week, great. If I've done 3 next week, but I've always been like that. And I think the big problem in society, again, which it sounds like you're doing a great job to battle it, is a big pet hate of mine is people who try and, I don't know, it could be like an alcohol gel type thing for a minute. My dad does this. My dad will get into a little routine and go in the gym, and he'll go, oh, give me one of those protein shakes or something. And he's like, oh, that's meant to help the last, like, and I'm like, if you're like that, then yeah, add it to your diet. You know, if you're like just taking this little gel and you're thinking, oh, this is the last like 1% that I need, it's like, but you're not doing 99% of the basics of just routine, and it's like someone will, which I'm not against it, but someone will just maybe drink too much, eat the wrong food, won't go to the gym once a week, but that one time they go, they'll drink a whatever drink or a pre-workout, and they're like, and it's like
a scale in it again.
People will start.
If you're Mo Farah and you want the extra 1%,
exactly.
Put all supplements in you, whatever. But
that's
like, don't focus so much on the supplements when you're not doing everything else.
That's it. Go to the gym, get in a good routine, and then maybe 6 months down the line start looking. People will go and sign up for a gym membership and go, you know, what's the best protein, what's the best creatine, what are the best running shoes, what gym set, and it's like, just go to the gym first and, you know, take it step by step, you know, you kind of slow down a little bit.
Before that, people are buying gym gear before they even get in the gym and all that.
All the gear, no idea, innit?
That's a big pet hate for me, that, all the supplements, which are great, but at least, like you say, start.
Yeah, or at least know why you're taking all those.
Don't just shut them down.
Like, especially tablets, like, by the time you've actually got down your body, you only get about 20% of what's in them anyway. Then people don't really know any of this, like what they're getting, what they're putting in their body. And they just go and do it. I've always been one of these people who I don't think, like, that's probably why I carry on going. It's just like a routine. Like, I don't overthink it. I don't think, I've got to eat that today, or I've got to do that cleaning. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't.
But it's like, good though, because it can overcomplicate things, can't it?
Yeah, and then you go into your head too much, and then you start thinking, but yesterday I did that and I ate that, but today I haven't done that, so I'm not going to help myself towards my goals now, and that's quite a scary mentality to go into.
It's even that shout where it's like, you might have a bar of chocolate on a Wednesday, and it's like, oh, I've fucked it up now, I'll start again Monday, and it's like, what is Monday? Monday's just 24 hours, like Saturday, Sunday, you know, Tuesday, and it's...
The thing with Monday is always convenient for people, innit? But it's always, you know, my night out Saturday, so I'll start Monday.
You've got to see a day.
Which is fair enough, but like, come on, if you've had a bar of chocolate on a Tuesday, people think, or even, you know, any day, people think that's ruined the day, and it's like, again, it's quite scary how much of a lack of knowledge a lot of people have got. It's not against them, it's just like they don't know much about nutrition, or someone will go to the cafe and go and get poached eggs, avocado, toast and some mushrooms and go, and the goal is to lose weight. It's like, that's 800 calories. They'll feel like they'll go and have a bowl of crunchy nut and go, I've absolutely fucked my diet up, and it's like, that's only 300 calories, technically, if you're looking to lose weight, you're probably going to benefit more from having a bowl of crunchy nut, and it's just that mindset
it's
of like...
I think if you chipped your car, like your windscreen or whatever, you wouldn't write your car off, would you? You wouldn't just scrapping it in now it's done.
Exactly. Or you'd have a bad day in work, you wouldn't quit your job, you know, you just kind of go, okay, right, go to bed, get up, fresh head, let's attack the day, you know.
I struggled with that loads. Like, I used to, like, especially when I started writing and stuff, because I put so much pressure on myself to make up the money that I used to earn and stuff. I would like have I put something up today actually, I'd have something bad would happen and I'd carry it the whole day, and I'd get in bed and I'd still be fuming about it. It's so hard to detrain yourself though, do you know what I mean?
It's just being aware, it's just being aware, it's like nothing good will come from. Look how much time you probably wasted on that, you know, and that's, again, we've all done it, I done it, and it's having that self-awareness of going, right, okay, how is this thought gonna save me? It's like something happening, say if someone, the light goes on red and you're in a bit of a rush and you go, that's absolutely pissed me off, that I'm pissed off now, that light's pissed me off, and it's like, you've just pissed yourself off, like, just, you know, it's a red light, get over it, crack on. It's like,
I can see straight away why you became successful as PTs, because you say you're just very relatable, you're very kind of positive mindset and stuff, and don't overcomplicate things. What I want to know though is, how do you take that kind of knowledge from a PT, which anyone can get? Obviously not everyone's got your personality and mindsets, but then how do you then turn that into a business, just individually for a minute? Because I think you could be like the best PT in the world, you know, but if you're not a salesman nowadays on Instagram, on social media, then it's lost, isn't it? I
think when I started PT, social media wasn't that big, and when I went into PT, I didn't know. I only knew Harriet McGuffey, that was the only other PT I actually knew of, and I didn't really know her at the time, but I didn't really know anything about PTs. I just wanted to help people, so I didn't really have anyone to look at, where now, I think if you're going into PT now, it's got to be quite scary, because you're looking at all these people going, but they're doing this, so maybe I should be doing this, and I should be doing this, and you're not actually thinking what you should be doing, what's going to better you at that time. You're trying to look at other people and trying to get to that before you've even done those hundreds, thousands steps before. you're trying to go to that main goal. And then when I first started, mine was just word of mouth. It literally was. I was very lucky it was word of mouth. There was quite a bit on social media, but more it's like, can my friend come to class tomorrow? Or can my friend come? And it would just be like that. And then I built up, like, I say it's lucky, but I worked very hard, but I had like all those 40 girls coming, like I'd have sometimes 3 classes on a day, which had, 30 to 40 people in each class, along with all PT throughout the day. And they were with me for a good, till I stopped, about 3.5 years doing it. And they were with me. And then when we went into lockdown, I don't know what it was them, when we did those lives, I said to you, and it wasn't even long in, I mean, like, I think the first day I said to him, oh yeah, I've got 2 weeks off now, I'm just going to enjoy it. When I walked, my mum came back and I went, Mum, right, I'm going to do this. And she went, you've just been saying to me you're going to enjoy 2 weeks off. And I was like, oh, I'm bored, Mum, it's been 2 hours. Like, what are you meant to do? I've never been able to sit still. And I remember saying to him, I'm not going back. And he was like, what? He thinks more than me. I don't really overthink things. I was going, no, I'm not going back. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go back to PT. I don't think it's right. I don't know what is right, but I don't think that's right. And then I think going online has been the biggest challenge of my career, I think.
Really,
like,
yeah.
It would have been so easy. So easy, but it would have been a lot easier to go back into a gym, pick your client base up. You've got them all. They come with you. They're very loyal to you. They are still very loyal now, I'm not saying that, but it would have been a lot easier just to do that. But now, it's just been harder.
You only have to do the maths with that as well. If you've got a book full of clients and then classes of 40, that's a massive safety net to go back to there and go, you know what, I've got that income, it's guaranteed every single week, a lot of it's cash, absolutely flying. So it's like hats off to actually not going back and doing 100%. that and taking that risk again. I think that's what a lot of people don't see. They think, I'll just go online now, and such lucky. It was like the pair of us were fully booked for PT. I had a class of 40, 50 people myself, and it was like to completely give that up with just a belief that we're going to start a new business and kind of...
You do everything for free then?
Well,
you're doing lives for free for like...
Well, it was for charity, wasn't it? It was for charity.
It was for charity, but I mean, I don't know why we thought, we can go online.
Well, that's
take it all online.
So you just went doing nothing online before?
I think just before lockdown, I was actually one of the first who I knew of to go online and kind of, as I say, I had a full client base basically, and I got in touch with one of my mates who was an online coach, and I was like, can I come and sit down with you and kind of, see how it works and stuff, because I'm one of them people, I kind of need a new challenge. I'm just like, I kind of hit a ceiling, and it was nothing to do with, financially, it was nothing to do with that. It was like, what's the next step for me now? If I've got a full client base, I'm working out of a gym, not my own gym. The next step was to either go online or open a gym, and I was like, I'm going to try and go online and do some online coaching basically, and sat down with him, he showed me the ropes a little bit. 2 weeks later, I just put it out there, like, I'm going to start taking people online and stuff now, and lucky enough, this was in November, in the November, and then obviously lockdown coming like the March or something, so lucky enough, I was actually quite an established online coach when we went into lockdown, and then my business obviously kicked on from that, whereas a lot of people, lockdown made people adapt to have to go online.
So when you say online, were you doing Zooms, were you?
No. Not even that, I was just like, so I kind of would plan people's workouts, wouldn't I'd have access to an app which I would pay to kind of put my own stamp on, basically. It was like a subscription to an app and I'd obviously plan their workouts, it was all accountable to me, and they could go in the gym and kind of get to work on their schedule and stuff, and it was more one-to-one stuff. And I think, when did the Zooms come into it? That was... June. Yeah, because I think...
June, so my lockdown was March.
Yeah, so then I think we kind of...
We were putting, like, we don't know why we can't put off Zooms. I don't like technology. Put these laptops in front of me, they break, I swear. I don't want to touch them when they break. And I remember saying to him, like, should we do it or not? Should we do it? And then people were saying, oh, you're going to do class, or you're going to do this. And I thought, look, we don't know how long we're going to be into it for. Why don't we just try it out and see? And then, like, I think the first intake, we had 200 and something people on it. And we were like, we only did it for 4 weeks at the beginning, didn't we?
We did first Pow8r?
No, this was before. This was before Pow8r. This was just after, in lockdown, was it? Or just it was in lockdown. So we were doing the live classes. We were doing like we said we'd just join, because obviously Hollie had her own business. We were completely separate, and she said, do you want to just do some live classes and raise some...
We were going to do the thing in the park, remember? And we
that was it, sorry, yeah. Bloody hell, yeah, so it was...
What, 500 people turned up?
So we went, everyone closed down, didn't they, on the Tuesday? And we were like, was it really like that bad? Like, not really taking it in. Like, my mum and dad were being really shouting at me and everything, and then I was going, should we just do a class in the park, just get everyone together, say bye, and then don't know what we were thinking.
Bring your mask.
You know what, honestly, the mask.
This was literally
like
just
that.
like, it was the day, like one of the day after lockdown, wasn't it?
And then we told everyone to come on the Saturday. I mean, come on, everyone must have been in the same mindset, because there were 500 people turning up.
Wow.
And then my mum was going to me, like, mum was going to be really good. Do you think this is right? Like, my mum was thinking,
that would have been us finished, you know. We'd have been finished doing that.
And my mum was thinking, I mean, they're all going to start saying something, aren't they? Like, they're all staying indoors and you're going out and having a party in the park. And then the night before, we went, should we call it off? Like, this really isn't probably like the right thing to do, you know?
I just had a gut feeling. I was thinking, this can eat.
Yeah,
like,
he was him first. And I was going, no, we'll be fine. Everyone's really excited, because I hate letting someone down. Like, I'm the worst person to let anyone down. So I was like, oh, but all those people, like, they were really excited. They were bringing their kids. And he was like, Hollie, imagine if one person has it though, and like it spreads like
just being matrix bands all over Coldstones Park. Me and Hollie just getting lashed in the back of it. No.
So did you not do it then?
Didn't do it. So then that's where kind of, and then she was saying,
we did a live workout that day.
Yeah. So we just doing the lives. I think we ended up, what did we end up raising for that? 15 or 10 was it? 10,000. We raised £10,000 or 12,000.
No, 50. I think we stopped at like 50.
It's a great confidence though to know that there's 500 people who are gagging to get on one of your PT courses though, isn't it? I mean, that's a great confidence boost to any business launch, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that was kind of where the first idea of like Pow8r then come, wasn't it? It was like we were doing the live classes, we were seeing how much everyone was enjoying them. People would never met just messaging saying this is amazing, I love this, I've never done exercise like this, I love the style of training, I love how positive you are and how motivating.
We had my mum on one who's 67 and she didn't know. I didn't even know how to work the live workout because he'd left me by this point. He'd gone off and went with...
I was living in Mo Salah's old house in where was it? Prestbury. Me and my mates kind of, again, just like obviously just making the most of the situation. You're like kind of, everyone was obviously down and out with lockdown and getting not upset, but like everyone was a bit demotivated, weren't they? And a bit like, my mate just texted me and said, I'm onto an agent here and he can get us a house in Prestbury and we'll do like a little training camp, and would you be up for it? And I was like, yeah, why not, who's going? And it was like, so this was one of my best mates and he's best mates with my brother, and he was like, me, your kid, Anthony Gordon, who plays for Everton now, he come, and little Bobby Duncan as well. So he said, and Jamie, other brother, and I was like, one of my other mates ended up jumping on it late, like a week or two later, and we ended up moving in there anyway, went down, all got had our own room. It was like a 7-bedroom house. Bear in mind, these are like...
Sounds like the Entourage.
It was Entourage, it was like Vinny Chase, Johnny Drama, we were and literally just had a training camp, as I say, just a few of the lads off, me and my brothers only from Canny Farm were sitting there living in Mo Salah's house during lockdown. He'd literally moved out about 2 months before. We ended up getting our own personal chef, having a chef cook our food every day. It was big massive swimming pool, sauna, steam and all that. It was crazy.
How long did you live there for?
3 months we were there for.
It's meant to be 4 weeks.
Our neighbours were like Wayne Rooney, like 6-7 knuckleheads. Our neighbours, Kyle Walker, Wayne Rooney, madness. Rashford lives in that house now where we are. He moved into it a few months ago. You had Mo Salah, 6 knuckleheads, and Marcus Rashford, the last 3 tenants. It was posh though.
Why didn't I do nothing like that during lockdown, man?
Mate, the amount of people who were messaging me just going, because obviously a lot of people were just spending a lot of time on the phones then, because we had nothing to do, and they were like, mate, you are living a life.
That was when you were doing live workouts, because you'd be like in the garden or something. You weren't even doing them in the house, the room was tiny that you did them in, wasn't it? So you couldn't see anything. And it was like when you do them in the garden, we're like, oh my god, where are you?
Your garden's got a bit bigger.
It was that was boss.
So how did you two then, just on a personal getting together, how did all that come about then? Was that through PTing or?
I slid in. Roy Keane style, 2-footed.
It's where we turned to Jeremy Cal now. Do
you know what? It was just actually, she was in Mallorca.
No,
was it
he messaged me over like, this is exactly how it happens. He messaged me over like a client translation.
I love how she says, I think, and then it's exactly.
Big sip of water.
This is exactly it.
he messaged me for like one of my clients going, boss that hall, and I went, oh, she looks amazing, doesn't she? And he just blanked me. This was like in the May, and I was like, all right. And then one of my best friends kept coming to my class. No, he did that just before. My best friend kept coming to class and going, oh my God, have you seen that Cal Webb? And I'm going, no. And she was like, have you seen him? And I'm going, who are you on about? Like, I thought she was talking about someone who was like Joe Wicks or someone famous, like, because I don't really know any names. Like, I am so bad. If someone said to me, like, even the Kardashians, I don't even know their names. Like, I just don't know people. And I was going, no. And I'm still trying to teach a class. I had like all the girls and I'm going, oh, just shut up, I don't really care about him. And then she went, no, you need to look. She's married with 2 kids, by the way. She went, you need to look at him. Oh my God, he's unreal. I was going, okay, great. Then she started liking his pictures, and then she came in, he put something on his Instagram. I can't tell you what that was because I can't. And then he went, and she went, hate him now, actually hate him. I'm off him now. And then a week later he put something else and she went, I like him again now. You looked at him, I'm going, oh my God, well you just showed me him. And then literally the day after he messaged me that, and I was like, oh, it must be fate. Then he ignored me, didn't reply to me. And then I was in Mallorca, wasn't I? Like about a month later. And he messaged me saying, oh, Hol, I was there like last year, someone told me you should go to this place. And then I think we just got speaking then, didn't we?
You
and
fired straight back in. Went from there.
I just wanted to know where the place was. No, at this point I still wasn't sure. And then
you come to a class, didn't
I came to a class. He kept going, come to my class, and I went, oh, I'm not showing up on my own. Like, I am a PT, and people are going to be like, oh shit, what's she doing here? So I thought everyone's going to then be onto it straight away. And then so my 2 friends were like, oh, the one who fancied them was like, I'm coming. And then we went. We were in the class, and I am the most competitive person. Like, I do not care. I'm not letting anyone even come close to me in anything. Like, I don't like that. So he put me with one of his clients at the time because my 2 friends had to go together. We were in pairs. And then I had my hair tied back in a bun, sweaty, like falling out my head. Had a blue outfit on. I remember it looked like I'd actually wet myself. Like, it was the hottest day outside. And she's going to me when we had the break. She went, the vein is coming out your head. She went, I feel ashamed. She went, look at him, what are you doing? She went, like, look at his legs, because he had the shorts on. I'm going, I don't get it, really. I was like, I'm not here I'm here to do a class. I haven't worked out today. And then we left, and then she was going, so what do you think? I was going, I don't really like looks, so I was like,
she's playing it here, cool here.
I was, to be honest. And then, literally within about 5 minutes, he was like, messaged me straight away. I went, oh, keen. And then
Roy Keane.
he was that keen. And then I remember I went away with my other friend to Barcelona. I was like, no, it's been like 4 weeks now. He's been messaging me. Is he ever going to ask me out? I'm a bit bored now. Like, hey Hol, what are you doing? Hey Hol, what's up? Like, my God. And then he did. And then he went like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't like dating. I don't like it. I don't like getting dressed up. Like, I just think it's dead awkward. It's like, to me, like what we were saying, like they're kind of like false things. So I'd rather do something that I'd like to do. And we kept talking to them, we saying like about running and stuff. And we must have said, oh, should we go on a run? So we went to Formby
Classic
Beach.
PT dating, that is.
Yeah.
I just want to know what competitive it got.
So we didn't even run because he backed out, I think. Saw that I was coming, like literally ready for this one. And then we even met, because we didn't want anyone to know, so we met in like Edge Lane Retail, and I went, where are you? Because I didn't know what car he had, and he was like, just go outside Marksy's and start waving, and I'll say.
That was no way.
Luckily, I walked past his car as I was going to go and walk and wave, because I am that person who would just stand there and be like, hiya. And luckily I seen him and I was stood by his car going, I can't believe that. And then I realised, oh my God, he was going to make me just stand. He probably drove off if I did that. I'd be like, no, she's gone. Yeah. And then we went, we just walked the whole length of Formby Beach. I think we were walking for about 3 hours. You didn't get a word in edgeways, did you? You didn't get to speak the whole time. And then we went for food straight after, and I remember we were sat there and he went, I'm just going to the toilet like when we finished food. And then he came back and went, are you ready, should we go? And I was like, oh my God, has he paid the bill or not? Like, this is what I don't like it's dead awkward. And I was going, we need to get up and pay the bill, don't we? And he was like, oh no, it's sorted. And this is what my dad always does when we go for food. He goes off, pays the bill, comes back and like says he hasn't done it. And then everyone's like argues with my dad because he's paid when we're all saying we're taking him out. And I went, oh, he's the one. He's paid the bill. Like my dad does. And then I remember going back. And my best friend said to me, she went, how did it go? And I was like, oh, damn, I didn't actually want to like him as much as I did, so now I do. And then went on from there. Really.
Job done.
You know...
Job done.
You know what, though? The next question is, I mean, it's that kind of relationship. Like, everyone kind of wants the fun, kind of all like good laugh and all that. What's then though goes from that to them essentially business partners. I mean, you've just painted a really lovey-dovey, nice walk, he's making me wave and it's all fun, and then now you've had that conversation where you're both successful PTs in your own right, and you sit down and go, yeah, we're dating in similar fields, there's a potential to come together. I mean, how does that all start?
So did we have a conversation?
No, I don't think we did. You know, it was kind of, obviously at the start, as you say, she was just cracking on with her work, I was cracking on with my work, and we didn't even really speak up.
Then even when we did the Zooms, they were separate really, like we'd advertise them together, but he did his when he wasn't with me, I did mine. It wasn't like we did them together.
And we kind of had a lot of the same clients then, didn't we? It was like,
we were like buying the house and stuff. It wasn't like we weren't thinking really about work. We were thinking like, well, let's just get the mortgage, like let's just pay for the house first and like do that. And then we weren't really thinking about anything. And then I don't even know when it was.
I just think it made sense. It was like, it just made sense. It was, a lot of people had mentioned it to me saying like, but people had asked me 12 months before and would say like, would you ever go into business together? And I was like, no.
No, we both said that.
And we both said no. It was like, it'd probably be best kept separate because obviously you've got your relationship. It can, it could turn sour. You never know. And I think it just happened naturally there, didn't it? It was like one thing just led to another, and then obviously with doing the lives and the Zooms, I think people started to, before we'd even basically said we're going to go together, I think people had automatically assumed then that like, they must work together now. And it kind of, I've always had my online coaching, which has been separate to Zooms, and so the Zoom group PTs, the live classes that we've done for charity, they were obviously between the two of us, and then I had my online coaching on the side, and then that's kind of when Pow8r was born, really, wasn't it? We kind of come up with the idea.
Just like we didn't have a clue. It was like, I even remember
sometimes the best ideas though, aren't they?
Was it like did you sit down and be like, right,
no,
Pow8r, this the name, this the logo, or was it
sound like us just winging it?
No, we did. I remember the physio come round, Luke coming to ours, and he was going, so like you've done these lives now, then you finish what you're doing. I did say to Cal we should do like a private Instagram page and put them all on there and like pay people to just do it a week, like a tenner a week, and you get all the classes for free. Then I don't think I mentioned it again for like another like month or something like that, and then he came back and he went, think we should do, and said what I said. I went, said that a month ago. This is Cal all over. He doesn't listen to me at the time, then he comes back and goes, I've got this great idea, I'm like, you don't take anything in I say, and then comes back with it.
And it was we must have decided in like November.
No, it was December.
December even. Decided in December, and then come January, there was a new business started. We literally got the name of it. I got in touch with a lad who I'd sat down with a couple of years before. Paul Webley, his name is. He owns Blaze Media, and I'd sat down with him a couple of years before, saying like, how can I grow my business? Stuff like a social media kind of. What would you class Paul as? It's just like a media agency basically. And I sat down with him obviously before I'd even met Hollie, and I was like, he'd been recommended by me physio, and I was saying, how can you help grow my business and whatever. And it was like, where I was at, it didn't make sense to work with him because he was like more like working with brands, and as soon as that we kind of come into the same, Paul had popped right back into me, and I thought I'm going to get in touch with Paul. He'll help us build the website, put a few things in place. We kind of just like got in touch with a few the videographers, Ethan. He's amazing at what he does.
Ethan Wood.
He's amazing. So I knew Ethan, got in touch with him. Steve, who used to have the office next to us there, Steve Timmons, got in touch with him, and it was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly, and kind of get the best team around us. And then from there, we didn't
really know what we were doing.
No, it was literally it was winged, wasn't it?
I think ignorance is like, there's a lot of similarities like in terms of online businesses and like lockdown businesses, so to speak, but I think ignorance can be bliss sometimes, because you were talking about overthinking before. Sometimes you can sit down about a business and be like, right, I need to make X amount a year, I need to get this overhead, I need to do this. Sometimes you just walk into it and you're like, right, we're doing what we do, let's see where it goes. Very similar to what me and you do. But it's like, I think sometimes it's your biggest asset, isn't it? Because you're not talking yourself out to things, or you're not like...
Or you don't put so much pressure on something, because if you put so much pressure on it, then if it doesn't go how exactly you wanted it to go, then at the end you're like, can't let myself down there, and then you kind of don't then go into the next thing. You don't push yourself as much in the next thing then, because you've kind of lost that little bit of confidence in yourself. So I think if
you are passionate about it and a problem does come up, you'll find a way of getting around it.
Exactly.
That's it, mate. It's not that like I can't. It's like, how can I? How can we? How can we sort this? It's the amount of ups and downs we've had with this over the past.
Wow, like what you were saying before, like the amount of workouts I've recorded, and your body, like, those workouts aren't easy. Like, I mean, I'm trying out, like, they're quite alright when I'm on them, but it's
working out and coaching at the same time. That's the
you've got to count people. You've got to count. You then got to check on the time. You then got to know what the hell you're doing. You then got to encourage people. It's not even like you're talking as well. You're like shouting them to encourage them. Come on, you can get to it. You can do it. We've only got like 10 seconds left. And I remember doing one. It was one day. This whole week, I think I'd done 4, and not one was saved.
Oh.
Then this one, the last day, his granddad was walking in the house. Granddad comes every weekend. And he was walking in the house, and the mic went off 20 minutes in, but I didn't know. So I carried on for the other 20 minutes, and I got off, and I was literally swearing the house down. His granddad walked in, and he was coming in. I went, I'm one of these people that just leave me. Like, leave me for 10 minutes, let me just have it out, and then by like afterwards I'm like, done, it's over with, whatever, it happens, deal with it, move on. And then his granddad walked in and was going, oh, you've made her cry, I can't believe you've made her cry, Callum, I didn't have you down. I was going, yeah, yes. And I'm getting the whole blame foot. I was like, it's just making me feel a bit better right now after what's just happened to me. But there are things like that, aren't
absolutely. And I
even
think
now they still happen all the time.
That's it, and it's again, as I said before, you know, you can't. There's a solution there. Just find it rather than dwell on the problem. Find the solution.
Not to pry into like your life, but how is it like building a relationship and building a business like hand in hand? You know what I mean? That can't be easy, because I guess there's got to be times when you switch off from Pow8r a bit and like.
We don't.
No.
It's unique.
Babe, I'm on a Netflix and chill. I'm thinking about burpees and then squats.
It must be hard to juggle the two.
There are times, like even last night, about when was it last night? And you went, and then all of a sudden this laptop comes out. I'm going, absolute piss.
Literally ready to go to sleep, and I was like, we've got to do that.
Yeah, and it is.
I'm worse for it.
He is worse for it, because I think things in my head and then I'll write them, and then I think, he's not. I don't want him to help me anyway. I'll do it. I'm like, I'd do that, so leave him. But he doesn't. Everything you think in your head, like you'll say it to me, we need to do this, but he's doing it at the time when he's saying we need to do it. You didn't need to bring me into that, did you? Because you've just done it there and then. Like,
it's tricky to find that balance. Like sometimes I think we don't realise that kind of work and life balance. Like my mate said to me a couple of times, we'd been in theirs having a couple of drinks one time, and I'm getting messages to him and going, oh, did you book her in? Did that go? Did you do that? Did you make sure to do that? And my mate said to me a couple of weeks later, he said, mate, like, he said, it must be so hard for you to just chill out, because you're kind of, you know, you're business partners and you're partners in life as well. It's
I don't think we're very chill people in general though, so I don't think it bothers us as probably as much as I think it would bother me more if he did what we do now, and then I was still in Bury doing that job. It'd bother me more, because then I'd be like, you're just always on the phone. I can't be coming in and switching off. Like, you're always on the phone, you're always doing this. Like, we need some us time, and that would probably annoy me more. But it doesn't. Like, even we went out with like our friends the other day, and they went, you know, we're going to the lakes in December. They went, so 5 days off. Like, you don't need to do the Zooms, you don't need to do Pow8r. I was like, no, we'll pre-record everything Pow8r, then we'll put them up when we're there, and then like the Zooms they're fine, they don't even work. I mean, come on. And even in our heads, it just will not switch off. Like, it doesn't, and then you don't even realise that, like, straight after you've got all the messages coming through, which we don't think anything of it. We'll be on a walk and oh, isn't this really nice what they've just sent? It's like...
That's what I was going to ask next. Do you have rules where you're out together and, you know, you might be having dinner, and because as PTs you are counsellors as well, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? You are people's, you know, agony aunts, and do you have times where it's like, right, don't reply to any messages from now, stay off your phone at certain times? Do you have rules like that in place?
We do, but someone doesn't listen to the rules. So no, we don't. They're not meant, like, we always say let's go out, and just like, he'll always put, my phone's always there face down and I won't touch it, and he'll put his on top, and then all of a sudden I feel like
checking the footy scores.
Sometimes it is just checking like checking on his football, and I'm like, just put the phone.
I can imagine if you've got
down.
like such, you know, you're having such big impact on people's lives, and they're saying, oh, Cal Hollie, you know, I've just fit into this dress I've wanted to, or I've just went to the park with my kids, I feel great, and people are being really, you know, deep, meaningful messages, and then you might open and you're like, I've got to reply now, but you're having dinner together or something.
That's happened a lot of times.
People do it. Like, I don't think it's only people do it on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. They don't mean to do that. No. It's probably because that's their time off. So they go, oh, I'll send this message now. It's not work to them, so they don't think in any way. They don't want to listen to me right now, do they? Like, I mean, we've probably done it to the physio and probably messaged him, and he's probably thinking...
It's tough for people, innit? Because, like, that message to you, for them, could be something that they've built up, and they're like, right, I've got the confidence to tell them now. But then, obviously, that's your time as well, and it's a very fine balance.
It is, and I think if it, like... a lot of that's still work, and I think sometimes we don't realise that even if we're sitting there replying to a message or doing a post, just because it's not physical, it's still work. Like, it's still both of our minds kind of working. And my brother always like winds me up and he goes, lad, you've got the cushiest job in the world. You do nothing. Look, you're on a walk at 11 in the morning, but I'm like, I'm on that walk making calls, you know, checking in with people, making sure they're doing stuff. So it's even like that's it's non-stop, and I'll never complain about it because I absolutely love what I do. But I mean, it's
people's perception of what hard work is, I guess.
Absolutely. As I say, they might see me and Hollie going into the gym where we go in Warrington and sitting there in a spa, and it's like, but we're coming back and work until 10 at night while you go and switch your clock out at 4 o'clock and switch off till the next day. Any small business owner will understand, like, you don't switch off. You'll be lying in bed 2 in the morning, something will come into my head, I'll go on my phone, note it down, and there I am, back to sleep again. And it's a never ending.
It's the tip of the iceberg, like what you said though, because, you know, people will say to you, oh, you got a great business there, or like, oh, I bet that's great, but, you know, they don't see things like invoicing or, you know, just, you know, stuff like that, the menial stuff that everybody hates doing. But, like, you know, as you say, you don't get to clock off at 4, and if you do clock off at 4, you're the one who pays for it. You know, when someone with a...
You can't take your foot off the gas. It's like, it's got to be, at the minute as well, because obviously where we want to be and where we feel like we can go, it's like having a full day off's not going to get us there. And I know that sounds like, it might be kind of like...
You've got to have a life on top.
Yeah, you've got to have a life on top of it. It's like, at the same time, it's like, you know, them 8 hours we could for where we want to get, we still need to be putting a little bit of work in. And I think maybe we need to kind of have a better relationship and kind of give ourselves a little bit of credit basically, and kind of go, you know what, you deserve a little couple of hours off at least.
We don't even, like, when we're not here, we don't even have it off. Be there, like, we're sat down now, so we can be like, reply to people.
I think you made a good point in the sense of saying if one of you is working in the same sector, I think that you might not work. Do you know what I mean? I think because you just can both relate to it. Do you think Pow8r would have A, existed, and B, been as successful as it was if it wasn't for lockdown?
No.
Absolutely not. No, my goal was to kind of, my next goal was to open a gym. Like, before lockdown, I literally went and viewed the gym 2 weeks before and was like, okay, that's the potential gym, that good location, good size, good price. Literally emailing back and forth to go for it, and lockdown happened. And
it's a blessing, really, that it's
absolutely. I'll always, like, everything does happen for a reason, and, you know, I might have kind of kicked on with my own gym and kind of had something, but, you know, we power come from it. We made sure that.
I did always say when I started PT though, I've got a 5-year plan. I want to be online within 5 years. I had no idea. When he did his online, it was one-on-one personal coaching. When he was doing it, I was going, no, not for me. Don't want to do that. I don't, like, that's just not for me. I wanted what Pow8r is, but I didn't know how to do that in my head. I wanted that, and I wanted, like, it to be me doing the workouts and to have, like, hundreds of people on it, but I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know how I was getting there. So and I think as well, if lockdown didn't happen, we'd never have had the time to even try and look into it, because
definitely.
The hours we worked, when you did switch, you didn't switch off, but when you did walk away from it, you'd then be replying, you'd then be doing your diary. It's still the same thing. You've still got loads of work to be doing, so you don't then go, do you know what, I'll go and look at this like this instead and try and move on to online. It'd be a lot harder.
I love that though. I mean, I'll be honest, I hated lockdown. I really, really struggled in every aspect, it seemed. But I'm glad everyone didn't. Like, I love hearing stories about people who smashed it through lockdown, because it was shit for a lot of people, and it's good that people did do well from it, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of businesses that have been created during lockdown, definitely. It's kind of, I feel like if someone was unhappy where they were in the career and stuff, lockdown was a perfect example to go, right, okay, reevaluate it, take responsibility for where you're at, and let's start taking some actions. And a lot of people did, definitely. A lot of people kind of created new businesses, whether it was cakes, kind of clothing businesses and stuff. A lot of people adapted and made them up, but then a lot of people didn't, and then will still go, I hate my job, I've got no time to kind of work on doing something else. And I think it was a perfect opportunity to kind of you know, put your time and effort into something. It was
the first time in my life that I had time to sit, like, my adult life anyway, because I had kids young and stuff like that. The first time in my life I ever got to sit down and go, like, and just think about what I was doing. Like, I'm completely happy in what I do for work and stuff like that, but it was crazy to sit and actually think, do you know what I mean? Because life's so fast, isn't it? And all of a sudden we got thrown into this thing where we're like, right, I can't actually do anything now for a while. And it was just,
I think that's hard, especially if you're a fast-paced person, to kind of think, you've got to slow down, which I think that was the only one part I did struggle in lockdown, is when he disappeared, and I was like, okay, I'm just stuck with my mum and dad. Like, and I am very, very close to my mum and dad, so like I loved every minute of it. I was like, oh, I'm going to use this. Like, when am I ever going to get this time to be with my mum and dad every single day and see them and everything like that? And then when I could start seeing him, I was kind of like, oh God, he's back now.
No, we had a discussion at first. She said, you can come and move into mine and we'll do some workouts together and stuff. And then I was like, move into Hollie's with a mum and dad.
No,
or move into Mo Salah's mansion at 6 in the night.
No, at this point, that was not enough.
You're a brave man.
I didn't want him. It did come to a point where I thought, oh, I can't deal with him.
And then you come down every so often, wouldn't you? And
when we could, I went there and I was like, God, it's more effort coming here. Like, I'd have to stay at home at times.
What do you think on the whole, obviously, like you say, lockdown was a chance for everyone to start new things, loads of, even podcasts, it seems to be like everyone starts the podcast in lockdown. One thing that I get quite, maybe I say this in the wrong way, and I'm not bitter or envious or nothing, but what frustrates me, and I'm wondering if you do because you're in a similar field, everyone seemed to become a life coach in lockdown, right? Yeah. And it really pissed me off because, one, I'm not a life coach, but I've been doing motivational speaking now for a good few years and I've worked all over the world, and I'd say I'm quite good at it. Everyone became like an expert on life, on motivation, on wisdom and stuff like that. And I'm looking at people who do it, and I don't know them all, but I'm thinking, fucking hell, you are like just almost taking advantage of people who are in a bit of a low point, and you're trying to, you're using social media, which we've like said can be a great platform, and you just kind of, you've not really either. I think people can be an expert in it by going down the academic route, becoming an expert, or through experience and they've lived it, done it. And I kind of felt, just because I'm in that field, there was loads of people who were having a go, and I just was thinking, fucking hell, what the fuck is like, did you feel a little bit like that with PTs, as in obviously from speaking to you, you know, you're both, you know, accredited in your own lives doing it, you're passionate, got the right mindset, obviously that talking to you now, you have come together, you got a product, and then maybe you're seeing people doing, was there ever a point where there was any jealousy, or you think, fucking hell, God, it's becoming crowded, or you're thinking, God, their product's not, they're teaching people the wrong thing, or that's bad for people? I mean, do you know what I mean?
Me personally, no. I think in terms of where you're saying that it being crowded and stuff, I think the cream will always rise to the top. It's like, if you've got insane belief in yourself and what you're doing and your product and your messaging ideas, then, you know, I've never kind of even had the time to kind of look at someone else and go, right, okay, what they're doing, okay, their intentions aren't genuine. I think that's a big thing, if your intentions are genuine and they're good, and you kind of, you know, practicing what you preach, then no, not at all. But I think it's a bit different if someone's kind of trying to give all life advice out and then not living by it themselves type thing. You know, if you're seeing someone going, you know, everyone needs to get their asses in the gym and start doing this, and then you're out on the weekend getting off your head and stuff, it's a bit like, mate, come on, reining in a little bit there.
That's what I mean. That was I fucking broke me.
Again, it's a social media thing though. Everyone has a voice, don't they? Like, for example, I could jump on and start talking about motivational speaking, and there's someone in the world who's not going to know that I'm not a motivational speaker, and they're going to listen to me and go, oh God, he knows what he's talking
on at this George.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you can have a voice.
I think they will only be there for so long. I think it's even with your job, people might listen to them for like a few months or something like that, but then I know a lot of people have said it to me, like my clients have said to me about other PTs and said, at first probably they did follow them, got into it a little bit, and then they've gone, well, I can't swear, but what loads of crap are they like? Yeah. Like, are they talking really? Like, that's not how they live their life. That's not realistic to anyone else's life. Like, you're telling people, like, and you're making people feel a bit shitty if they don't do that way of life because you think that's what's right. And I think a lot of people then started, especially when lockdown started to lift, a lot of people did see through that.
Yeah. I think that's the problem though. I think a lot of people on social media like that, they don't believe it, but they act like everyone's got the same life. Yeah. So everyone's got, like, you know, the same problems and they can do exactly what they're saying, but don't take into account that, you know, some people, exactly what you said before about the girl who had no arm, people have different circumstances. It's so difficult to put everyone in the same box, and then if they aren't following it, go, oh, you fell off. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, and I think it's massive in our industry as well. You know, just because you're a PT, you love going to the gym at 6 in the morning, you know, you love eating chicken and rice at 8 o'clock in the morning, doesn't mean anyone else should do it. You know, and I think that's what a lot of people kind of can relate to, myself and Hall. You know, we'll never tell anyone to do something we don't do. We're never gonna I had a client and she told me one time, said PT had told her to peel the skin off a tangerine, like the little like white bits of skin on a tangerine. It was like, make sure you're peeling that after eating it just to save on calories and stuff. And it was like, that's absolutely bizarre. Like, how dare you tell anyone to do that? And I think it's understanding. So with us in our field, it's like, just because we like getting up at 5 a.m, just because I like getting a cold shower or whatever, it's like, you can't push that on anybody else though. It's like
getting up later and staying up later.
Exactly.
That's it. People, as long as it's what works for you. Absolutely.
Me and Mark's kind of have big debates on this and stuff, because I done a drunken post once saying like, you don't have to get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And
you
someone
did a
like
drunken post.
You know, yeah.
No, it was good though.
I feel like I've got quite a good balance in life. I feel like I'm really fit. I've got a good social life. I think I'm a good dad, and I feel quite happy in my life. I'm really happy, to be fair. And I done this post, and I think someone like almost like commented Mark Scallowin to try and cause it, like, and I got like good mates with Mark type thing, and I spoke to Mark on the phone for like an hour, and we just both singing off the same song sheet of like, everyone is different. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a little girl, like, took her to school this morning. I can't get up at 5 and go for a run and leave me little girl in bed. I'm a single parent. How do I do that? So when PTs, for example, all these life coaches are saying, you've got to do, it's like, well, I couldn't go for a run till 9 this morning. So
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
It should fit in around you, but it should be something you enjoy. Like, people go, I'm gonna get on it now, I'm gonna get up at 5, this is my new life now. But then it's all too much as well. Like, it's like, right, normally I get up at 8, so now I'm gonna get up at 5, I'm gonna go and have a cold shower. I mean, you love your cold shower.
No, I couldn't even tell you the benefits of it. It wakes me up in the morning and I feel good.
But I mean, I don't enjoy that, so I would never go and put myself in that situation. I hate the cold, so I wouldn't go and make myself go and sit in a cold shower. To me, I'd come out wanting to cry, not what he comes out like singing out the shower.
It's great to hear you say that though.
Yeah, I hate it. What am I like with the cold? Like, honestly, I
think that makes you relatable though, you know, because like, if you say, for example, I've seen your post where you're in the shower, say like you were both doing that, but you were secretly hating it, where you were getting out going.
Absolutely.
No, there was like a vote on, wasn't there, for like, because he was going, might if I get over 100 votes, Hollie goes in, there was like over 200, I was going, I'm going. And I was like, but I'm that competitive, I was thinking about it, I can get in the shower, just don't want to get in the shower. And I remember being in a wake once, and I'd done a class, and Diane was like, why are you screaming, like, what's going on? I was like, Diane, there's no hot water in here, there's only cold water, why didn't you tell me? I've gone in, washed my hair. What are you on about? Turn it round the other way. I was like, I've been in it for this long, washed my hair underneath it. And I remember thinking, never again. And when the physio tells me to get in an ice bath, it's like I sit there and I go, I can do it. And I'm thinking, I hate every minute of this. Like, I hate the cold. I did Kilimanjaro, and at the top was a -20, and I remember taking my glove out, but I had like 4 gloves on. My hands had blown up, it was blue. And I remember thinking, what the hell am I doing? This is not, to me, not enjoyable. It's absolutely freezing. I don't like those cold conditions. I'd rather leave me in a 40-degree hot room all day. Absolutely love it. But
the sign of a good coach as well, though, is kind of understanding each person is different in every single way. You know, you might have a client who's a nurse who works crazy shifts to someone who's in uni and has 3 days off a week. You know, you can't expect someone. Every single person is different, and you've got to find what works for them, find what they enjoy. You know, if they enjoy it, they're going to do it more consistently. The more consistently they're going to do it, the better the results they're going to get. And it's like just keeping it simple and just mastering the basics. And I think loads of people just overcomplicate everything.
That one size fits all is mostly not just PTs, but it can be anything. It can be writing motivation. It's people who, I love working out, so you should love working out exactly how I do. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't, then you can't keep up, sort of thing. That's just not.
I see with the speaking, I do this talk and it goes on. I've had people come up to me at the end who relate to it because they lost their mum when they were a kid. I've had someone relate to me because I had my leg amputated, and they've related that back to, you know, getting rid of a toxic relationship. So people will take so many different things from the service you're giving. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, everyone is different.
That's it. Spot on.
Going forward, where you say you've got this kind of goal for Pow8r, I mean, what is the goal? Is it top secret? I mean, where do you want to take it? Do you want to take it global? Is it, I mean, got a shelf life? I mean, where do you, what do you see?
We this before, wasn't we? Saying like...
I said, if you ask where I want to be in 5 years, I'd say I can't even answer that.
Same.
I don't even know where I want to be. I don't know where I want to be, but I don't know where I'm going to be in like 5 weeks. I mean, look how much everything's changed in the last year. Pow8r was built within about 3 weeks. Like, we didn't really know what we were doing, and then within 3 weeks it was there. So like, another 3 weeks, I can't even say where it would be, and then January hits, and we're hoping it just goes like what we've got coming for January. Like, we are hoping it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger.
And I think as well, it's like, you know, we kind of, for me, what the goal would be is just to kind of expand as wide as possible, because that means we're going to be able to help more people. That's what it's about. It's about trying to scale this business, because the more scalable it is and the bigger it goes, the more people are going to benefit. You know, improving their lifestyle and creating, you know, new habits and understanding, you know, the power lifestyle, basically.
I think that's the beauty of being online, isn't it? Because, you know, so people can get involved with
massively. This was the beauty of this was why Pow8r was built, basically, because, you know, being in a gym, you've only got so many hours a day. You've only got, you know, if I'm sitting in a gym all day, my client base is realistically a 5-mile radius. You know, no one's going to come further than that. Whereas if you go online, it's scalable to the whole world. And my online coaching, again, that's scalable, but it's not. You know, I couldn't have 200 clients on, and I'm dealing with personal problems and personal situations and personal goals every single day. Whereas I think Pow8r's like, it's massively scalable, and that was the main reason. One of the main objectives behind it was find a product that we can scale over the world. And obviously, as I say, the more scalable it is, the more people we can help at the end of the day. And that was the whole point about making it cost effective as well.
I think that's what we saw really in lockdown, because people were doing the lives and they were from like Holland, and they were from
Germany,
Dubai,
Canada,
Dublin, all different places. And they were like, God, you actually could just like, and even girls who like do the Zooms now, they're not even from that far, they're from like, but it's part like Parble, Chester kind of way, so it's like a good 50 minutes to they would never be able to come to our class. They even say that, they said, I'd never be able to get to one of your classes because the times, it would take an hour and a half to get there anyway. Why would you give up that time to come to a 45-minute class? So it is, they love the Zooms now because it gives them, they can train with us, roll out the bed and they're there.
I mean, I can vouch as well. I signed up for one of the Pow8r courses, they are great.
I know you say, sorry mate, I know you like, you do, it's a lot of it's female based, like, do you have a lot of men sort of involved? It's
probably, I'd say there's definitely more females.
Men are more weak-minded, I'm not going to lie. Hold on, his mates who have done it, what are they like?
No.
They all play footy, like, you know, they must all go like a couple of times a week, and then they come in and go, oh my God, what the hell was that? Like, what's wrong with her? She's tapped in the head. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I think a lot of men as well think it's a girl, she's not going to really, she's just probably going to just do it.
But then people do it and say to me, like, mate, she's absolutely ruthless. Like, she is top. Kieran, one of my mates, he said, like, he switches it on and he sees Hollie come up and he's like, why have I just got why have I set my alarm for this now, just 45 minutes? But it's not, there's all different types of workout. There's all different types. There's over 50 different categories, you know, the beginner, advanced. As I say, we've got mums with 4 kids who are 55, and then we've got, you know, 18-year-old lads who are kind of, you know, training to be PTs themselves and stuff. It's a massive variety of everything, and that's one of the main beauties of it. I think that's why
when people say as well, like everyone's going to have their own criticise you in some way, aren't they? Like mine is, which you could take as a compliment or not. They say, she's too fit, I can't do it. It's like, why would I want to do that? Like, she just does burpees all the time or something like that. And I'm like, it's not, you've made your excuse not to do it, because, but then if I wasn't fit enough, you'd all be saying, well, she can't even do it. Like, she's telling us to do these exercises, she can't even do them. So really, you wouldn't win in any way of that. But that's what gets to me when someone makes that excuse, because then I go, but there are like 50-year-old women who have never trained before. I'll give you a variation to a burpee in a different way, do a squat instead of a squat jump, you know.
Again, what we said before, it's having the how can I rather than the can't mentality, you know. I can't do burpees, well, okay, well, how can I still get a workout without doing burpees? I'll just do squats instead. You know, it's having that attitude. I think, you know, your attitude before the start of any task will determine the outcome. You know, if Mo Salah's going into the Champions League final and he's sitting in the change, he's thinking, we're going to get beat here, you know, me touch didn't feel right in training this week. You know, he's going to go into there and automatically he's kind of setting himself up for some sort of kind of, you know. The
person who says they can and the person who says they can't are both normally right.
Yeah. I think it's
my favourite saying.
But I guess, like, say if you do 4 burpees instead of 10, it's still more than, I mean, the 100% of nothing is nothing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like you're still improving as like PTs and stuff like that, even despite the success?
And you learn so much off, like, everyone, don't you? Like, just people messaging you and you think, I think there's times and there are days when you do get like down over certain things, and then someone just messages you and it makes you think, do you know what, this is why I'm doing it, this is like, it's helping that person.
I think as well, it's like, you should never take anything personal Like,
I'm not good at that.
She struggles with that, but like it's like if someone unsubscribes and she's thinking, okay, well, what's wrong with the app? And it's like, well, nothing, because you've got hundreds of people who are doing it and absolutely loving it. So it's having like that balance as well. But in terms of like always looking to improve and stuff, like we've got a meeting on Tuesday, haven't we, with like an online coach, like a guy who helps online coaches kind of put new systems in place, how to scale the business and stuff. And we could kind of have an ego, we don't need that, like we're doing all right, we're doing sound, like we don't need anyone to tell us what to do. But we're both the complete opposite. It's like, right, okay, what else can we learn? I love being in a room with people who know well more about me than everything. It's like I could go and sit with a few of my mates and they'll go like, mate, you're so hard work, and they could like big me up in every single way, and I'm go, mate, I'm nowhere to where I want to be here. I've just been in a room with like 20 people who are kind of, you know, absolutely flying in all different aspects. So I think that for me is a massive thing. You know, you can never know too much, and the
ability to learn is something that no one should ever like think, because there's no limit. Because unless you've got an ego, your ego is the only thing that'll stop you from learning.
I think it gets you excited though. When I learned, like, I mean, even the smallest thing, if I learn, I go, oh my god, look what I've just learned, and I'm like really happy with myself, and I'm like, wow, I probably should have learned that in school or something like that, but still.
I've learned it now,
yeah.
Start the podcast, like always, one of my favourite sayings is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms. This podcast, like the amount of people we've had round the table, you just learn enough. You even used two today, you know. I love how the start of the podcast, it was, you know, just two people who were in jobs who were doing alright, but, you know, not really that happy, and then by the end of the pod, you know, come together, got this super successful business and still wanting to learn more.
I think it's always about believing in yourself though. Like, goes back to like when we were both in those jobs, people around us were saying, why don't you just stay there, because like it's cushy in the way, and you know, when you start a family you've still got your security and stuff like that, and it's if you believe in yourself. Like I always said it, like anyone says to me, I went, no, I don't care what you say, I am going to be successful in it, because I will not give up until I am successful in it. It's not, and people measure success in different ways, but I just knew I was going to give everything I could to try and do as much as I could, really. But still, we always try, don't we? Like, say one day we signed up 100 people but lost one. In my head, I'll go, why did we lose that one? Then why would they unsubscribe? What was wrong with the app? What's wrong with this? Something's wrong with us.
A lot of the time, it's not though. It's not the app. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, it could be someone who goes like,
someone who wants a quick fix.
Someone who just, someone who might want a quick fix in 2 weeks.
It's like controlling the controllables though, innit? Because like someone could sign up to your app and then, I don't know, find out that they've just been hit with a £300 bill. So the first thing to go is maybe your app, and I think it's controlling what you can control. I mean, if you've got 100 people sign up and one going, it's a pretty decent ratio compared to
you've got to just weigh it up,
you're going to come across.
Yeah, and when you're getting the messages and people are like, as I say, like, we've saved someone's life, and like, you know, someone's kind of quit their job and went to university and just got the masters and stuff, and it's like,
she's got 5 kids.
Yeah, and it's just, it's powerful, it's powerful, and it's like, I think a massive thing as well with anyone and their goals, and if you are kind of, you know, on a fitness journey or a career journey, it's something Will Smith said and it always stuck with me, and it was like, don't focus on building the whole wall. Focus on laying one brick each day perfectly. You know, if you're kind of looking at that wall and going, I've only laid one brick, there's 10,000 I've still got to lay, you know, that's going to demotivate you straight away. But it's like, right, okay, how can I lay this brick perfectly today? Do that, go to bed, get back up the next day. How can I make today as good as possible? How can I make, and before, you know, like, as I say, you know, I was, on a personal note, I was lad from Canny Farm, working on a building site in a job I absolutely hated. 5 years down the line, we've got a house in Bolton, 3 businesses, we featured in Vogue magazine, you know, us 2 in Vogue magazine, do you know what I mean? Like, they got in touch with us and was like, we want to feature Pow8r as one of the best fitness plans in the UK and stuff, and we were just like, wow. But if I was focused, someone would have turned around to me and gone, right, okay, you're on site, how are you gonna, right, in 5 years, you're gonna have 3 businesses, you're gonna have a mortgage in, you know, in Bolton, you're gonna feature in Vogue. I'd have just been like, wow, that's just, how is that going to happen? But if you just focus on doing the best you can each day, and you can relate that, as I say, with any career goal or any fitness goal, you know, if you just continually make good choices, you know, if you have a bit of a rubbish day, just get up the next day and make that day a little bit better. You know, if you lay that brick and it's not perfect, go the next day and just, you know, make sure the next one's perfect.
He's trying to get in my career in motivational speaker.
I think your biggest strength for me though is that you're relatable. You know what I mean? You're not trying to tell people, like, you know, you're not preaching to people, which I think is good. It's like positive people doing positive things, you know what I mean? Like, speaking to people and saying, you know, you might not don't have to lose all this weight, but if you come, you might build a better habit, or you might be a bit more patient with your kids.
And that's it. Anyone can do it. It's just having that. It's making sure that if you are going to take something on, just have the right attitude towards it. I didn't, because if you don't enjoy something, more than likely your attitude towards it, your actions, your thoughts, your emotions towards it, you're not going to succeed in it. So kind of like my wake up call was like, right, okay, I didn't like my job, like I didn't like maths in school, for example, so I'm going to kind of change my attitude towards life. So that's towards everything I do, rather than things I don't particularly like. I'm going to make myself, I'm going to give it a go in anything I do. And if I can work on being the best version of myself every single day and making sure whatever I do, I give it 100%, who knows what can happen.
You hit the nail on the head with attitude. It's like when a kid goes, right, I'm not good at poetry. It's like, because you've never tried to write poetry, how are you going to be good at it if you've never tried it?
Definitely.
And I think what you used to, what Jordan said, which is I think sums it up, is you're relatable, and because people buy into you too, there's that famous saying, it's about a leader, and it's something like, people will follow you if only out of curiosity. That's what makes a good leader. And if people have bought into you too and they're curious, what Holland Cal going to do next, and they're invested in you, I think, like you say, they're enjoying it. That's when you're going to get the most results. And I think that has been I'd probably say that's probably been our biggest strength, is like how many people can probably relate to us, and that's a lot of feedback that we get from not even people who train with us, people from the outside. I've got mates, lads who I've met along the way, and they say, mate, like what you're doing is amazing, you're just so relatable and you're just so real, nothing's fake. What you see on camera, it's exactly the same off camera. And I think we put a video up the other month, didn't we, and it was like we were doing a filming day, and in the middle she goes, I'm standing there, I went like, I'll go out the room, it was filming, I went, I'll go out the room, and she went, no, just stay there, and then 20 seconds later she went, you're fucking putting me off, go out the room. And I just went like, just lost it a bit, and we were just arguing and then like, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to put, like, how many people can put, like,
we never knew it was
and the lads who we work with, we thought it had gone off at this point, to be fair, and then
brilliant.
It didn't get out there to anyone, it was just basically banked. And I said I'm going to post that, because like people will buzz off that, and they'll kind of...
We live though, didn't we, when Steve and Paul were listening, they went, guys, you need to make sure your mics are off, because I'm coming up to him going, what the fuck do you mean it hasn't saved? And I'm screaming at him going, so I can't put it on now, so I've just done all that work and it can't go on the app. And Paul's messaging him going, maybe get the mic off, guys, because we can hear everything.
But he said when we put it up, and obviously he's part of our business, he's like and he said, mate, like he said, I seen that and thought, wow, that's proper heavy, that like pushing that out there, and you two are arguing, and mate, the amount of people and just going, that's amazing, like that is me and me fella, or that's me and me husband, it's just, and that's why, as I say, what you see is what you get with those two, mates, and it always will be. If we go and end up having, being multi-millionaires, having hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I will not change one bit, and I know she won't, because we are where we are right now just for being who we are, so why change anything?
Hey, posting the best bits is what every fucker does, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's only one way to stand out from the crowd in modern society, and it is probably to be yourself, because 98% of the world are being something that they're not. So
I always think though, when people, I still don't really get it now, and I know it's a bad thing, because people always say, and I think PTs always say to someone when they walk in, what are your goals? I never asked one of my clients what their goals was, and if it did, it's because they really kind of threw them on me, and I was like, alright, I don't go by that, because your goals are going to change every single day. If someone said to me 5 years ago, what are your goals? It definitely wouldn't have been this, because I didn't know I was getting here. So I was still probably just left buried
on the job, don't you?
I didn't really know. And then, so that's why it is a little bit every single day is going to get you to this goal you didn't even know you had, really, and you didn't even know was there. So when people go, my goal is to like lose 3 stone, or my goal is to look amazing in a bikini in 6 weeks, but you probably learned a lot more getting there anyway, and it's not really even about...
I think that's a perception that a lot of people have as well, and it's like all the top end entrepreneurs in the world, all the most successful, they have goals, they write them down every single day, and they focus on them, and they visualise them. Don't get me wrong, I do a bit of visualisation and stuff, but someone said, where are your goals? Have you wrote them down? Mate, I haven't wrote one thing down since the day I started. I literally have ideas, I'll have little bits of motivation here and there that'll come to me, but I'm like, I just crack on, and it's like, I'm just gonna, my main objective is just to be the best I can be as a person, and whatever comes with that is
you
like...
say, when you said about lockdown as well, they say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and by living your lives like that, by just trying to improve every day, that's being prepared. This opportunities come and you just took it and ran with it. So
I think it's the you, we said it ages ago, it's the you versus you thing, isn't it? Like, you're just trying to be the best version of you two, and then in the process, you know, you're helping people, you're building a business, but you nailed it before about overcomplicating things. You can't, the minute you start overcomplicating things, you're just pushing yourself back further down the road.
Biggest saying, isn't it? Like, I'll be, even when I'm doing workouts, I go, get out of your head every single thing you think is impossible, because you're going, I can't.
Yeah.
Why not just tell yourself for 30 seconds, I can, I'm going to do this. It's going to be done before now. By the time you've done that, I've told you, 30 seconds, it's done, it's over. But it's like everyone changed. If you just changed your like mind to believe in, do you know what, I can do it. Like, I put on a post, didn't I, the other day, about like holding the plank, and like, yeah, okay, it's a lot longer than most people, but I'd held like, when I used to train with Luke, I went in one day and he went like, come on, I want to see how long you can hold this plank for. And all the lads were in the gym, I was going, I'm too competitive for this, like, and they were like, you know, if you do 5 minutes, amazing. And I was like, I'm not doing 5 minutes. So I remember going into it and I thought, if I get to like 8, I'll be happy. And then I got to 8 and I went, I can't finish on 8, it's gonna have to go to 10. And then in the end, I did 16 minutes in a plank. And then the other day I changed and I went, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to have to go and put my head into it and do it. Within the first minute, I was going, what the hell am I doing? Like, I can't do it. My body's killing me. I'm in pain. I don't really want to be doing this. I had every single argument in my head and I thought, I'm not coming out. What would you say if someone was saying to you, I can't do it. You tell them you can. So get into it, move. Before I knew it, I'd done it. It was, for that whole 11 minutes that I stayed in for, it was the biggest argument ever in my head of going, I can't do this. And people would message and said, oh, like, your mental strength, like how strong you are. And I went, it's nothing to do with, I always say, it's nothing to do with how physically strong you are in certain things. Your head rules every single thing your body's going to do. And if people really, like, just believe that, do you know what, I can do it, I'm going to do this today, rather than thinking, look what they're doing, well, I could never do that. But no, you might not do it to their standards or their, like, go as fast as them or something like that, but you're doing it to yours. You're doing better than you did the day before. You're doing better than if you didn't do it, aren't you? So it's just believing you can do it. Getting
people to understand that, you know, it is just your own journey. That must be a big challenge for you, because obviously, you know, your selling point to people is, look what we've done for people. But then to getting people to go, but this is your journey, do you know what I mean? You've got to, you know, be you. That
switching up that mindset, isn't it?
As I said earlier, it's about just showing people what they are capable of, though. Like, as I said, like with my mum, when she's going off, you know, I've only lost 2 pounds on the scales, and it's like, but look what, it's kind of like, that's it. It's like, I never think about, I've never thought about what I want in life. It's being who I want to become. So it's about the journey of it all, and the skills you pick up on the way, the people you meet, the habits you create. All of that is much more important than actually, like, you know, the end goal.
Destination,
and absolutely. And I think that can relate so much to a fitness journey as well. You know, if you don't get in the shape of Kylie Jenner or someone like that, at least you've had a right good go and look back and look at the habits you've created. Look at the, you know, look how many times you kind of got out of bed and set that alarm when you didn't used to do it. You know, look at the people you've met along the journey going to that class, what you know, you've got mates for life there, and it's having that kind of outlook rather than, as I say, just focusing on that one thing.
Inspires you to get in the gym, lad?
Well, good thing. I've been running, but mate, honestly, do you know when you're talking about the head, then that's just me. Like, all I do when I run is just argue with myself.
Yeah.
I'm doing well, I'm doing okay, but I do get furious.
But you have certain things you can listen to. Like, people laugh at me at what I listen to. I listen to, like, Leona Lewis, you know, happy song. And I'm singing in my head and I'm going, yes, come on. Like, he'll have like proper head music, like, where you go into a club and I'm going, no, that doesn't work for me. I need songs with words in, and I think to myself, yeah, come on, I'm going, and that's what gets me to go.
Do you know what I have? There's like things on the route, so there'd be like certain trees,
lampposts,
and
I felt well worse being here last week, and I feel a bit better this time. So I'm like, fuck you. Do
you know what I think though? What's a misconception people may look at, maybe used to, or whether people do with me with the speaking, who thinks like people who are there don't ever have any mental blocks or anything. When I done the marathon, right, I swear to God, mile 18, 19, I genuinely, not, this isn't even a joke, I was genuinely contemplating ways I could break my prosthetic leg, so I had an excuse, and it could be, my leg snapped, and I was thinking about how can I snap this,
how long that argument can go
on, and I went off like 10 miles, and then when it got to like the last 4 miles, and I knew my little girl was at the finish line, I thought, no, it'd be amazing to see her. But oh my God, for 7, 8, 9 miles, I was thinking of ways how I could quit that race without actually quitting myself. like my mind was giving me excuses and reasons to stop. And it went on for ages.
Every single person has that. Like,
everyone,
the amount of times I think when I'm on a live, just go off, like please, like how can I get this to go off? I mean, I'm going to text him and somehow get it off because my body just doesn't want to do it that day, and I'm thinking, oh, how can I do that when I'm telling people to do it? But, and I do say this to everyone, there are days when we wake up and we're knackered, you know, you haven't, loads of people, you don't sleep, but you still get up, you're there, aren't you? You're still putting in the work, and it is, every single person has that, it's just dealing with it in your own way.
It's the same with like people who, you know, you might see a positive person, obviously speaking of Mark Scano, he's one of my good mates, people look at from the outside of him and think, his life's amazing, like he's so positive, and like he'll still have negative thoughts, but he just doesn't waste time and energy on them. He just go, and I've kind of adopted that saying. It took 5 years. I'm no way near where I want to be, you know, mentally as well. But the person I was 5 years ago to the person I am now, unrecognisable in terms of mentality. But it's, as I say, it's having the awareness to let that thought come in and go, right, okay, you're not going to serve me. See you later. You know, and it takes time. It's a skill. It's a skill, but it can be taught, and anyone can have it. As I say, we all have negative thoughts. We all have shitty times, but it's how we respond to them.
I think the ability to play like the long games, what most people don't have, isn't it? Like it's like, you know, sticking with something for long enough that we start to see the benefits. We live in a world where everyone wants instant gratification.
6 weeks, 6 pack and all that.
But not just physically though, mentally. They want to read a book and then be like, I'm doing this business and I'm doing this. They want everything to be like instant turnaround, because all they see is, for example, people go, God, you're an overnight success, aren't you? But they don't see that you were travelling home from your job and then teaching PTs.
It's like one of my friends, Danielle, she's got an online business now, it's called Gift and Grace. She started in lockdown last May, and she came out to me and she went, can I just drop something off? I've just made these chocolate strawberries, I'm going to start selling them. Had no idea where she was going with this business. She's got a full-time job, she's in university, and then she started this job and she's like, I don't really know what's going with it, but I'm just going to do it. And then she started doing like the strawberries, then she started doing like little gift boxes for people. Now she's got like 30,000 followers on Instagram. This was within a year. She now does it a bit like an Etsy, so she's got all other brands, small local businesses sell on her website now, and she just will obviously, she doesn't really do much of it now, they sell through her. And she didn't probably know where it was going. She just went, I'm gonna work. And she gets up every morning, she gets up at 5, she'll train, because that's her hour she needs for herself. She wants that time. Then she'll go to work. She'll do work on her online business. She'll then go to work and she has got like a stressful job as well. Then she'll do her uni work when she comes back. Then she's got another business she's just set up now as well. And then she'll go back on the other business, and then she goes to bed. And it's like every single day. And we even say, don't we, how does she have to like we see her when she's on holiday, like a few days later, I'm like, how does she do this?
Fit
like,
it all in.
But that's
I'm
it.
even looking at her going, wow, she's like amazing.
Talk's cheap.
Yeah.
Massively. It's like reverting to what I said earlier about picking the book, the secret up. You know, I'm not sitting here now saying it will change your life, reading them pages. It's what you do when you put the book down. You've got to take action. It's like law of attraction, you know, there's a key word in it, in attraction, and it's action. And it, you know, you can't just read a book and sit there and go, right, okay, my life's going to change now. It's like, take the things that you've learned from the book and start, you know, implementing them every single day. You know, my life didn't change in a week. It's took years and years to kind of change, but you know, I took action every single day. I stopped getting in the van of a morning in work, getting picked up for work, going, I hate my job. It was like, I've got a job though. Like, I've got a job. And as soon as I was doing that, I'd even look in the mirror, brushing my teeth, and I'd normally be like, oh, I can't be asked there. I was like, right, I've got the gym after work today, so get through that and do that. And it's like, that's just not overnight though. That's took a lot of time as well at the same time to make that way of thinking into a habit. And as I say, that's where gratitude comes in massively. And it's like, I can't change my thinking to thinking negatively about my job and my situation to go, and at least I've got a job, and at least kind of, you know, I've got opportunities still, I've got me health and all of that kind of stuff. It's like being grateful for what you do have rather than wishing to have other things as well is a massive thing.
Yeah, it just alters you, like the energy that you have in your life, doesn't it? Because like, I mean, I'm quite not lucky, but my own mindset's always been the same. Like I'm always been happy with myself and stuff like that, but the minute you be negative, you just become a negative person, don't you? You attract negative people.
You attract it.
You attract negative situations.
My favourite one is radiators and drains. So the radiators and drains, people just drain the energy from you, and there's people who radiate energy from you as well.
I'll be honest, I can walk into a room and I can speak to someone for 5 seconds and I can feel like my battery was full when I've just walked into that room, and it's just gone. I can feel it actually.
Wasn't it? Like if you did one-on-one PT, you'd have some. You could walk in like 5 in the morning and be like, "Yes, new day, all positive," and that's what you're like. 45 minutes later, you're like, they skip out the door, like what you walked in like, and you're like, oh my god.
So all you're in. I'm like that with Jordy, turn up, I'm like, Jordan!
Yeah. All he does is moan, mate. He's a motivational. I said to him in a taxi today, you're a motivational speaker and you just sat there moaning all the time. But yeah, I mean, you do have to have a point in your life where you do, you know, you can be negative, but it's like what you said, it's knowing.
Doesn't serve
it's knowing to understand, knock myself out of that. You know,
when you're around positive people, you laugh more as well. You're just a better person, aren't you?
That's it. It's just energy just bouncing off each other. You know, if you're sitting around the table with 5 negative people, you're more than likely, and you're not a negative person, you're going to walk out of the room feeling like, wow, what's just happened in that room there, and I can feel it a mile off now. And
anxiety, I think, like when I'm at like certain people, I come back now and say I've gone really anxious, and it's like, why I'm going, I don't know, I feel like I'm anxious because something's going to happen, and because they're dead negative and put that on you, I think, oh my god, I can't be mad at that makes me like a
and
really
you know what, they're
person.
actually it's quite sad, because you know, we're saying the negative people, it's like they're just on autopilot, they're not aware of what they are doing. Do you know what I mean? If it's like people who gossip, it's like kind of, if you go to gossiping and you think, what's this, what's going to come of this now if I say this, kind of, you know, probably going to waste 10 minutes about speaking about someone, and it's like, it serves no purpose, like, just don't do it. Do you know what I mean? It's having that self-awareness. It's tricky as I say, because you know, I was 26 years of age, just living on autopilot, hated my job, weren't happy where I was, but I weren't aware of why I was there. And it was like all my actions and my thoughts and my feelings and all that had literally got me to that point. And as I say, if I wouldn't have picked that book up, I do believe everything happened for a reason. My brother giving me that book, it was like, that did change my life, but it changed my life because I took action from reading that book.
Great thing is, it's never too late, is it?
Absolutely not, mate.
You can walk out of any room and any situation, you know, you could have no money, you could hate your job or whatever, it's never too late to switch it around.
No, I was 29 when I started.
Exactly, that's the beauty of it.
I was a lot later, like, and I think that was it. I always said to my head, I wait till I'm 30, I'm not going, just go. You've waited 7 years now, just do it, like, and I think, like, it's like when people say to Cal, do you wish you did it sooner? I 1,000,000% do not wish I did it sooner. I don't think I was in the right place, or I don't know, I wasn't ready to go. I think I needed that to realise how much I appreciate what I do now as well. I needed a job where I used to go home and cry from it. I hated it, like I did not want to go into work. I'd wait till it got dead on 8:30 till I sat at my desk. Like I, even though I'm the earliest person, I would literally hover back like thinking, and then I'd look at the clock and go, wow, it's only 9, it's only 9:30. And I was like, I'm not a clock watcher at all, so I think that was in my head as well, thinking this can't be your life, you're not spending time like that. And when you think about it, it's when you're in that kind of space where you really don't want to be, you do anything to get out of it. It's like those hours, like I'd go back and then do PTs after work, I wouldn't think about anything. It was just, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere else. I don't know where it's going to go.
Situations and circumstances, they make you or they break you, don't they? And I think I wouldn't change anything, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't as well. And a lot of the most successful people you listen to and you hear about, mate, they've had struggles, and that's what's got them to where they are. That's what's made them the person they become. And you know yourself, you know, would you kind of, if you hadn't done what you'd done, or you know, you hadn't been and been to war or whatever, like, you probably wouldn't appreciate half the things.
Mate, you know what, I'd never wish this, but it's such a weird one. I think, you know, in a way I've become almost, not grateful is the wrong word, but if my mum hadn't passed away when I was 12, no way would I be as resilient and as strong-minded as I am now. That's not meaning to say I'm glad my mum died, but I've been able to realise that going through that at 12's made me a strong person.
And that's massive credit to you as well, because if that happens, you know, or any sort of death, I think regardless of what age, it's like you can either kind of put all your energy into that, or you can take something away from it and do something positive and kind of try and, you know, make them tough times better in some way, shape or form, because they're not coming back.
No, I get it, and yeah, I think you've nailed it. I think it comes back to, we said that a few times, I just think these are massively relatable. That's what people are getting success from. Any points you just want to finish on?
No, I think we've covered quite a bit there. I mean, that's absolutely flew over that. How long was that?
I don't know, but I've enjoyed that. I keep going, like, until I think,
well, I'm probably up 2 hours. What I think's good about it, though, is I know you wouldn't, even though you are PTs and successful ones at that, I knew just from knowing you online and just knowing the vibe, it's about life, and I think that's what I've took from this. Hopefully people listening will. It's not about come and join Pow8r and you get a 6-pack and you can do exercise in however many weeks. It's about come and kind of take on the mindset and attitude towards life and watch things improve.
I think your like strength from me though, it's not really your physical workouts. Do you know what I mean? It's what you're doing for people in terms of, you know, maybe giving them an outlet. It's not the actual action. It's what, like, you know,
that's it, mate. Anyone can any PT or any person, Andy could put you through a 45-minute workout.
Mate, I am actually a qualified PT. No, but that's what I was saying before about other PTs, because I could teach you all the same exercises, but you have got the zest for it. Do you know what I mean? Which is brilliant, and it shines through.
That's why I think you've got to do it for helping people instead of getting results. Like the amount of PTs, girls who have messaged me
and for money as well, you can't be money driven for it as well.
I think people change because they go, right, I want the money, but to get the money I've got to get results, so let's starve these girls a little bit. The amount of girls I've had, especially, they probably open up more to me than what they will to him anyway, like who have got now so many issues with foods, like they've lost their periods. They're young girls. That's a huge thing to go and admit to. Like, you know, a lot of them are struggling with things like that because PTs, and it does get to me a little bit, because especially when the men really gets to me, because I think you don't even know a woman's body to give that kind of advice. But we'll cut carbs out. They're only allowed to eat carbs one day a week, which is a tiny bit of rice. What is that all about? I mean, I eat a ridiculous amount of carbs. Like,
it's quite it's dangerous that there's people with qualifications walking around, and that's one thing I think in the fitness industry does need to change, is
regulated more.
Yeah, the qualification needs to kind of be more. It needs to be the program itself, and for you to pass, it needs to be a bit tough, because you know you've got PTs walking around who like literally haven't got a jar. Do you know what I mean?
Especially what you're saying about women. If you don't know female anatomy, how are you meant to
like the amount
advise on?
Like
especially males training females
inside out, but it has taken me. Like I used to train with Chris Tam, and he helped me so much. Like things he was saying made me. I thought, I know enough. Like I know a lot about women's body, but I always wanted to learn it. Always, like I think going all through pregnancy, after pregnancy, it's just so interesting to me. I love learning it. But he said things to me and I was thinking, wow, I didn't know that. So it made me then go and do more work on it, and I wanted to know more, because I was like, wow, I've learned that, so what else didn't I know? And it made me think I want to learn that. But I think
that's what I was getting into though, because you know the way when I said about the speaking, it's like people are doing that, for example, because it's such an easy shop window now, Instagram, and you can just get a couple of transformation pictures. It's so easy then for people who haven't got a clue and are putting people in, giving dangerous advice out.
But they're charging them, like, you know, what, £25, £30 a PT. And these people don't have a clue, just because they walk out and they go, I'm dying, I've had a great session there, and I'll go home and starve myself for the rest of the day. And it's like, you've given them your hard-earned money. These girls, you know, who probably aren't making that much, they're young girls, just starting off in a little job and stuff like that, and they're putting in their money, so, you know, at the end of the month when they go out, they feel good about themselves, and you're putting all your trust and even giving someone that time for them not to really care. I
think as well, a big thing is people who, as I say, if there's that many personal trainers out there, if someone goes to one and has a bad experience, they're going to think personal training's absolutely crap. Do you know what I mean? And it's like anything. I think it's so saturated at the minute. People have got to kind of. It's quite sad to see, really, is what I'm kind of getting at.
I think the best place to end really is the cream does rise, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think in any market, you know, you could do anything.
I think a massive thing as well is, touch on before we go, so I always use an analogy of like my physio. He mightn't be the best physio in the world. I could probably go and find a better physio, but I like him. I like spending time with him. That hour is like spending time with my mate as well, and I think that's a massive thing with personal training as well. Like if I might go to someone who worked for Liverpool and he might say, yeah, sounds, see you later, but like my mate might take the physio I've got now, he might randomly message me and go, how's your week going so far? Have you done your exercises and stuff? And it's going that extra yard, do you know what I mean? I feel like that's what we both done. No, you know, the type of person Hollie is, I'd kind of finish my day's work, and I'd be sitting in mine and I'd go, do you know what, she done boss today, I'm going to drop her a little message now, and you know, I'm going to, when I go in tomorrow, I'm going to tell her how good she's been doing over and it's going that little bit further, which I think a lot of people, and as I say, that's a bit about the, you know, the cream will always rise to the top. I think a lot of people will just go, just me two ton there in my pocket, see you later, same time tomorrow, and it's like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing, you've given them your service, that's fine, but I think a lot of people aren't willing to go that extra little bit, and I think that's the difference between a bog standard PT and an actual coach who cares about, you know, the progress of their clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, don't forget to come back on here when you're global. Have you done a podcast before?
No.
Love that. Love being the first.
Well, you should be everywhere.
Just wait till you see your inbox now. Be full of podcasts.
Do you know what? Imagine, I was looking the other day, the Leggett podcast was the first ever podcast I subscribed to.
Yeah,
so I looked on my app, on like
day one there, lad.
Is it Spotify, not Spotify, Apple Podcast, and you can kind of see what date you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like it's right there, lad, at the bottom.
Even last night before we were coming out, that must be a sign, because like 3 stories I went through all had screenshots. They were all listening to different ones of your podcasts, and I was like, oh, weird's that? Like,
all belter. That's what we like to hear.
With them professional, like, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
As you can see.
As you said, it's good that it to not come in with loads of structure and right, let's do this and this. Means it just that just felt like it was 20 minutes.
I think what we were talking about with you really is similar to us. You know, we're just following a passion. We don't know where it's going. We don't know, you know, where it's going to end up. But we're here for the ride, and it's going to be a good.
You're doing well doing it.
Absolutely, lad. Definitely. Why not?
Feel good vibes all around here, by the way.
Love it.
Guys, it's been a belter. Wish you all the best for the future. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but I'm proper happy to see people who are making other people feel happy. So, well done.
Good. See you soon,
Thanks.